The cosmos doesn't care about your training schedule. Goku learned this the hard way when his instant transmission, perfected over decades of crossing planets in the blink of an eye, suddenly felt like grabbing a rope made of broken glass. One moment he was leaving Beerus's planet after a sparring session that had left 3 moons cracked and the god of destruction laughing. The next, his Ki signature lock slipped. Not to anywhere in Universe 7. Not to any universe he recognized. The fabric between realities screamed. His body materialized in the void of deep space, and for 3 seconds of pure confusion, Goku hung suspended in a silence so complete it made his ears ring. Stars he'd never seen stretched in every direction. More stars than he'd ever witnessed, burning in colors that seemed wrong. Purple nebulas twisted like dragons. A distant sun pulsed with energy that tasted like the power stone he'd heard Whis mention once, except this felt rawer, older, angrier. Then physics remembered he existed, and the vacuum hit him. No air. Goku's lungs seized. His battle-honed instincts kicked in instantly. He wasn't dead, just drowning in nothing. Super Saiyan blue flared around him in a brilliant azure corona, Ki reinforcing his body against the pressure differential, creating a micro-atmosphere through sheer energy. His aura crackled and popped in the soundless dark, feeding oxygen directly into his cells through pure life force. It wasn't comfortable, but Saiyans weren't built for comfort. A shadow fell across him. Goku spun, fists raised, and stopped. A ship loomed overhead, if ship was the right word for something that looked like a dozen different vessels had gotten drunk and decided to merge. The main hull seemed Terran maybe, with Earth-style plating, but wings jutted at impossible angles. Weapon systems he didn't recognize bristled along the flanks, and the entire thing was held together with what appeared to be optimism and spite. "Okay," Goku said, to nobody, his voice lost in vacuum. "That's new." The ship's exterior lights suddenly blazed, bathing him in harsh white illumination. Goku squinted, raising one hand to shield his eyes. A targeting laser, red, angry, unmistakable, painted a dot directly on his chest. Then a voice crackled through. Something. Not his ears. The sound just appeared in his head, which was weird, but not the weirdest thing that had happened today. "Attention, unidentified glowing spaceman," the voice said, male, human-sounding, with an accent Goku couldn't place. "This is the Milano, and you're in our flight path. We've got a very busy schedule of not dying today, so if you could just move, unless you're hostile. Are you hostile? Please don't be hostile. We've hit our hostile quota for the week." "Milano?" Goku called back, forgetting sound didn't work in space. He focused his ki, projecting his voice outward through pure energy vibration, a technique he'd improvised once fighting in the dead zone. "I'm not hostile, I'm just lost. My instant transmission messed up, and wait, can you even hear me?" Apparently yes, because the targeting laser disappeared. Did he just say he teleported? A new voice, female, sharp and suspicious. "Into deep space, by accident." "I heard it too, Gamora," the first voice again. "Look, glowing space guy, we're gonna open the cargo bay. You seem like you're not immediately trying to kill us, which puts you in the top 10% of things we meet out here. Come inside before you freeze or boil or whatever happens to people who hang out in space without a suit." The ship's underside split open, golden light spilling from within. A cargo ramp extended, and Goku could feel warmth bleeding from the interior. Artificial atmosphere, gravity, the comfortable weight of breathable air. He grinned despite his confusion. Whoever these people were, they had manners. Rude people didn't invite strangers onto their ships. Goku floated down through the cargo bay entrance, his Super Saiyan blue aura fading as he crossed the threshold and real oxygen hit his lungs. He dropped the transformation entirely, black hair falling back into its perpetually messy state, and touched down on the metal deck plating with a soft thud. The cargo bay was organized chaos. Weapons hung on racks, guns of makes and models he'd never seen. Some crackling with energy, others purely ballistic. Crates stamped with alien writing were stacked against the walls. A workbench covered in tools and disassembled tech occupied one corner, and in the other a potted sapling that looked vaguely tree-like sat in what appeared to be a mound of space dirt. "I am Groot," the sapling said. Goku blinked. The tree had talked. That was fine. He'd met talking trees before. Parallel universe, different rules. Hi?" Goku offered, waving. The cargo bay's inner door hissed open and 5 figures entered, weapons raised. Goku's battle instincts immediately cataloged them. Leader type, human-looking, holding twin energy pistols with the casual confidence of someone who'd used them 1,000 times. Brown leather jacket, gray shirt with an old Earth symbol on it, roguish smile that didn't quite hide the calculation in his eyes. Power level. Above human normal, but nothing special. Enhanced somehow. Woman, green skin, sword drawn, moving with a warrior's grace Goku recognized instantly. Lean muscle, perfect balance, eyes that had seen too much death. Power level. Significantly enhanced, trained fighter, dangerous. She evaluated him the way Vegeta evaluated new opponents, looking for weaknesses to exploit. Massive gray-skinned man, shirtless, covered in scars and red tattoos, gripping 2 curved blades. Everything about his stance screamed berserker warrior. Power level, very enhanced, possibly stronger than the woman, definitely more aggressive. His eyes burned with something Goku understood, the hunger for battle. Small creature, raccoon? No, wrong. Fur pattern, cybernetic implants visible. Standing on a crate with an absolutely enormous gun pointed at Goku's head. The weapon hummed with enough energy to vaporize a small building. Power level, normal for his size but compensating heavily with technology and what felt like barely restrained violence. And the tree sapling now somehow in the room when it had been in the corner a second ago, looking at him with innocent curiosity. "Okay," the human said, pistol steady. "Before anybody shoots anybody, let's do introductions. I'm Star-Lord. This is Gamora, Drax, Rocket, and Groot. We're the Guardians of the Galaxy. You just appeared in deep space glowing like a nightlight having a seizure. Want to explain that before Rocket gets trigger-happy?" "I'm always trigger-happy," the raccoon, Rocket, muttered. "It's called professionalism." Goku lowered his hands, smiling. "I'm Goku, Son Goku. I'm a martial artist from Earth. Well, my Earth. I was training with my teacher and tried to teleport home, but something went wrong. I've never felt dimensional barriers bend like that. One second I was in my universe, the next I was here." He looked around at them, noting their continued wariness. "Is this? Are you guys from Earth too? That symbol on your shirt looks like the English letter A, but stylized. Earth?" Star-Lord, weird name, lowered his pistol slightly. "Terran? You're Terran? If that means from Earth, yeah." Goku scratched his head. "But I'm guessing not your Earth. Things feel different here. The energy signatures are all wrong. Even the stars don't match." He paused. "Also, you guys seem really calm about talking raccoons and tree people, so definitely not my Earth. I am Groot. He says you smell like ozone and burning sky," the woman, Gamora, translated, her sword still drawn. "What was that transformation, the blue aura? We've encountered powerful beings before, Kree, as guardians, celestials. You registered on our sensors at a power output that made Rocket's equipment start smoking. Not my fault your scanners can't handle real power readings," Rocket protested. Goku's grin widened. These people had met gods. fought beings of genuine power. This universe wasn't like his home. It was like his home's cosmic tournaments writ large across an entire reality. That was Super Saiyan Blue, he explained. One of my transformations. I'm a Saiyan, a warrior race. We get stronger by fighting, and we can transform to multiply our power. I've got a bunch of forms, but Blue's one of my stronger ones. I needed it to survive in vacuum. He looked at Drax, whose eyes had lit up with something between excitement and murderous intent. You look like a fighter. You guys get into a lot of battles out here? Constantly, Drax rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. I am Drax the Destroyer. I have slain armies. Do you wish to fight me, Saiyan warrior? Your aura spoke of great power. I would test myself against— Drax, no, Star-Lord interrupted. We are not fighting the reality-warping spaceman in the cargo bay. We just got the gravity stabilizers fixed. But he clearly desires combat. I can see it in his eyes. That's just his face. Goku laughed, a genuine delighted sound that echoed through the cargo hold. I like you guys already. Look, I know I'm in a weird situation here. I need to figure out how to get home, but I'm not in a hurry. If you need help with anything, I'm happy to pitch in. I'm pretty good in a fight. Gamora and Star-Lord exchanged a look. Some unspoken communication passed between them, the kind of wordless understanding that came from fighting together, surviving together. Finally, Star-Lord holstered his pistols. Okay, Goku from another Earth, here's the situation. We're the Guardians of the Galaxy. We handle cosmic-level threats, protect innocent people, and generally try to stop the universe from imploding every other week. It's a living. He gestured toward the ship's interior. We were heading to Xandar, capital of the Nova Empire, to deliver some cargo and pick up intel about movement in the negative zone. Something's stirring out there, and when things stir in the negative zone, people die. Negative zone? Goku asked. Antimatter universe, Rocket supplied, lowering his gun slightly. Nasty place, run by a psychotic warlord named Annihilus who wants to kill everything that isn't him. Standard Tuesday. And, Gamora added, her voice careful, we've been hearing rumors about Thanos mobilizing forces again. The name meant nothing to Goku, but the way everyone tensed when Gamora said it told him everything he needed to know. Powerful enemy, personal history. The kind of threat that made seasoned warriors touch their weapons reflexively. Thanos is the Mad Titan, Star-Lord explained. Cosmic Warlord thinks he's destined to bring balance to the universe by killing half of all living things. He's one of the most dangerous beings in existence, and if he's making moves again— He trailed off, jaw tight. Goku's expression shifted. The easy smile remained, but his eyes hardened. The look of someone who'd heard similar speeches from Frieza, from Cell, from Majin Buu. Evil beings with grand philosophies that boiled down to, I want to kill everyone. Sounds like someone needs to be stopped, Goku said simply. I am Groot. Yeah, Star-Lord agreed with whatever the tree had said. He's definitely going to fit in. He extended a hand toward Goku. Welcome aboard the Milano, Goku. Let's get you up to speed on how things work in this universe. Fair warning, it's complicated, violent, and we're all probably going to die horribly at some point. Goku shook his hand, Ki instinctively reading the enhanced physiology. Some kind of genetic modification, celestial heritage maybe, layered under the human exterior. If you want to see more characters enter different universes, hit that subscribe button and drop the name of a character into the universe you'd want to see them in down in the comments below. With great power comes great responsibility. What? Star-Lord asked. Nothing, Goku said, grinning. Just thinking out loud. So you guys got a training room on this ship? And maybe some food? Interdimensional travel makes me hungry. Rocket groaned. Oh, great, another Drax. I resent that comparison, Drax said. I am far hungrier. As the Guardians led Goku deeper into the Milano toward a galaxy of threats and wonders he couldn't yet imagine, the Saiyan warrior felt something he hadn't experienced in years. Genuine excitement about the unknown. A new universe, new opponents, new limits to surpass. Somewhere in the vast cosmic dark, ancient powers took notice. Energy signatures that should not exist flickered across mystical sensors and technological scanners. The negative zone stirred. A mad titan paused in his meditations, sensing a new variable in the eternal equation. But Goku, walking through the corridors of a spaceship held together by friendship and reckless optimism, simply smiled. Whatever this universe threw at him, he'd face it the same way he'd faced everything else. By getting stronger through the fight. Nowhere smelled like motor oil, alien sweat, and something Goku's nose identified as probably illegal. The massive severed head of a dead celestial floated in space like a cosmic monument to mortality. Its interior hollowed out and transformed into a mining colony, black market hub and refueling station for every criminal, mercenary, and misfit in this sector of the galaxy. Goku pressed his face against the Milano's viewport, eyes wide. That's a head. A giant head, someone's head. Celestial, Gamora said from behind him, checking her sword's edge with practiced efficiency. Ancient cosmic beings, that one died millennia ago. Tyvan the Collector bought it and turned it into this. She gestured at the sprawling industrial nightmare that had grown inside the skull like a technological fungus. Do Celestials usually get that big? Bigger, Rocket said, tapping at a control panel. That's a small one. The big ones can judge entire species and wipe them out if they don't measure up. Real pleasant folks. Goku's expression shifted, serious for a moment. There are beings in this universe that destroy planets and people for not being strong enough? Welcome to cosmic-level existence, Star-Lord said, guiding the Milano through the traffic of ships entering and exiting Nowhere's docking bays. Out here, power isn't just about personal strength. It's about armies, technology, infinity stones, reality-warping artifacts, and being so old they remember when the universe was young. He glanced back at Goku. No offense, but even with your glowing transformations, you're probably mid-tier on the cosmic scale. Really? Goku's eyes lit up. So there are stronger opponents out here? That is not the correct response to that information, Gamora muttered. I am Groot. No, Groot, we are not encouraging him. The Milano settled into a docking bay with a hiss of hydraulics and equalizing pressure. Star-Lord killed the engines and the ship systems powered down to standby. Through the viewport, Goku could see the interior of Nowhere, a maze of catwalks, mining equipment, bars, shops, and what looked like a fighting arena in the distance where crowds gathered around a pit. Okay, ground rules, Star-Lord said, standing and stretching. Nowhere is neutral territory. You don't start fights here unless you want every bounty hunter, mercenary, and armed psychopath in the sector dogpiling you. We're here to meet with Cosmo, telepathic space dog who runs this place, and get information about the negative zone disturbances. Space dog, Goku repeated. Soviet space dog, telekinetic, also telepathic, long story. I've stopped questioning things, Goku admitted. They disembarked into chaos. The docking bay alone contained a dozen different species Goku didn't recognize. Blue-skinned humanoids with crystalline growths, insectoid creatures the size of trucks, something that looked like a living rock formation wearing a bandolier. The air thrummed, with a dozen different languages, all somehow translating in Goku's head through what Rocket had called universal translator implants that Star-Lord had jury-rigged for him. Stay close, Gamora advised, her hand resting on her sword hilt. Nowhere attracts trouble. Don't gotta tell me twice, Goku said, following the Guardians through the crowd. His senses were on fire. Thousands of power signatures, most weak by his standards, but enough mid-level and strong readings to keep his interest. He could feel energy weapons charging, cybernetic implants humming. And something deeper, exotic energies he'd never encountered. Magic, maybe, or technology so advanced it might as well be. They navigated through the mining district, past crews extracting valuable brain tissue from the Celestial's skull. Goku tried not to think too hard about the ethics of mining a dead god's head. The path opened into what Rocket called the Hub, a massive central plaza carved into the Celestials, cranium filled with vendors, information brokers, and more bars than seemed structurally advisable. There, Star-Lord said, pointing toward a reinforced structure that looked part command center, part fortress. Cosmo's station, let's... An explosion rocked the plaza. Goku's instincts screamed. He moved without thinking, blurring across 50 feet in an instant to catch a chunk of burning debris before it crushed a group of civilians, some kind of small, furry species that squeaked in terror. He set the debris down gently, already scanning for the source. A ship, sleek, aggressive, covered in weapons, hovered above the plaza, its boarding ramps extended. Figures in dark armor rappelled down, energy weapons firing indiscriminately into the crowd. Their leader, a massive creature with 4 arms and skin like cracked obsidian, roared orders. "Negative zone raiders!" someone screamed. The crowd scattered. Civilians ran for cover while the less savory residents of nowhere drew weapons and returned fire. Energy bolts crisscrossed the plaza, turning the hub into a war zone in seconds. Goku felt Gamora and Drax appear beside him, weapons ready. Star-Lord and Rocket took cover behind an overturned vendor stall, guns blazing. Groot extended his arms into wooden barriers, protecting fleeing civilians. "Annihilus's scouts," Gamora said, her voice tight. "They're testing defenses, looking for weaknesses before the real invasion." The 4-armed leader locked eyes on Goku, or more accurately, locked multiple eyes on him, and laughed. "Fresh meat. The annihilation wave will feast on your..." Goku punched him. Not hard, just enough to make a point. The Raider leader's aggressive speech cut off as he sailed backward through the air, crashed through 2 support pillars and embedded himself in the celestial skull's inner wall with a crater-shaped impact. Silence fell across the plaza. Every eye turned to Goku. "Sorry," Goku said to the remaining Raiders, "but you were shooting at innocent people. I can't let that slide." The Raiders exchanged glances. Then, as one, they opened fire. Goku sighed and transformed. Not to blue. That would be overkill. Just base Super Saiyan golden aura flaring around him, hair spiking upward and shifting to blonde, eyes turning teal. The energy bolts hit his aura and dissipated harmlessly, their energy insufficient to penetrate even his basic transformation. "Drax!" Goku called over his shoulder. "You wanted to test yourself, right? Let's see what you've got." The Berserker warrior's grin could have split mountains. He charged into the fray with a roar that shook the plaza's foundations, blades flashing. Gamora moved like liquid death, her sword cutting through armor and weapons with surgical precision. Rocket's gun, which Goku was now convinced violated several laws of physics, laid down suppressing fire that vaporized cover and raiders alike. Goku fought with them, holding back significantly, using the raiders as a live training exercise to gauge this universe's combat capabilities. They were strong, enhanced beyond normal beings, equipped with energy weapons that could kill unprotected humans easily. But compared to Frieza's soldiers or even the Ginyu Force, fodder. Still, Goku made it look good. He dodged when he didn't need to, blocked strikes that couldn't hurt him, and kept his movements readable so the Guardians could coordinate. This was their territory, their fight. He was just the guest helping out. A raider with some kind of energy whip caught Goku across the chest. The weapon discharged, sending crackling power through his body. Goku felt it, a genuine tingle, actual energy that could hurt someone unprotected. He grinned. Not bad. He caught the whip on the return swing, yanked the raider toward him, and delivered a palm strike that sent the attacker into dreamland without killing him. Holding back was second nature after years of sparring with friends who'd die if he hit them at full power. "I am Groot." The tree child extended his arms into a cage, trapping a cluster of raiders who'd been trying to flank. "Nice one, buddy," Star-Lord called, shooting out the engines of a hovering raider bike. The battle lasted 3 minutes. When the smoke cleared, negative zone raiders lay unconscious or groaning across the plaza. The civilian casualties were minimal, mostly shock and minor injuries. Nowhere security forces finally arrived, heavily armed and looking disappointed they'd missed the action. Cosmo, an actual golden retriever in a Soviet spacesuit, floating telekinetically, materialized above the battlefield, his thoughts pressing into everyone's minds simultaneously. "Is good you were here, Guardians," a new friend with curious power signature. "Cosmo is detecting strange dimensional resonance. You are not from this reality, yes?" Yeah," Goku said, staring at the telepathic dog. "I'm from another universe. Accident with my teleportation technique. Is explaining much." Cosmo's tail wagged despite the serious situation. Cosmo was about to send message to Guardians anyway. Negative zone disturbances are worse than reported. Annihilus is mobilizing annihilation wave. Full invasion fleet, hundreds of thousands of ships, maybe millions. He is seeking something or someone. The temperature in the plaza seemed to drop. "How long until they breach?" Gamora asked. "Days, maybe hours. Negative zone barriers are weakening. Cosmo has also detected other concerning movement. Thanos' ship, the Sanctuary, has been spotted in outer systems. He is also moving forces. 2 cosmic threats converging is very bad sign." Star-Lord cursed under his breath. "Annihilus and Thanos active simultaneously? That's not coincidence." "Perhaps they seek the same prize," Drax rumbled, wiping raider blood from his blades. "Or perhaps they have formed alliance." "Thanos doesn't do alliances," Gamora said sharply. "He uses people and discards them." "Is true, but Annihilus is different. He is not ambitious like Thanos. He simply wants all life in positive matter universe destroyed. They may tolerate each other long enough to eliminate obstacles." Goku listened to this with growing understanding. 2 major threats. Armies. Billions or trillions of lives at stake. The Guardians were strong. He just fought beside them, but 5 people couldn't stop an invasion fleet. "So what's the plan?" he asked. Star-Lord looked at him, then at his team. "We need to contact the Nova Corps. Get them to mobilize their forces. Warn every planet in Annihilus's potential path. And somehow figure out what Thanos wants before he gets it." "Is sounding like terrible plan with low success probability," Cosmo observed. "Yeah, well, we're the Guardians of the Galaxy. Terrible plans are our specialty. Cosmo will help. Also, Cosmo must warn you, new warrior's power signature is attracting attention. Already Cosmo is receiving inquiries from Collector, from Ravagers, from less savory organizations. Man who glows like Star will be very popular very fast." Goku scratched his head, slightly embarrassed. "I wasn't trying to show off. Those raiders were hurting people. I am Groot." "Groot says you have good heart," Star-Lord translated, "which in this universe makes you either a saint or an idiot. Sometimes both." He clapped Goku on the shoulder. "Come on, let's get to the Milano and contact Nova Prime. If we're dealing with an annihilation wave, we need every advantage we can get." As they navigated back through the now chaotic plaza, emergency crews tending to wounded, security forces hauling unconscious raiders away, Goku caught Gamora studying him with an unreadable expression. "What?" he asked. "You held back," she said quietly, "against those raiders. I've seen beings fight at full power. You weren't even close." Goku shrugged. "They weren't that strong. Didn't need to go all out. That transformation, Super Saiyan, is that your full power? Nah, that's just the basic version. I've got stronger forms." Gamora was silent for a moment. "How much stronger?" "A lot," Goku said honestly. "But power isn't everything. Technique matters, strategy, understanding your opponent. I've lost to people weaker than me because I got careless." "You sound like you fought wars." "A few," Goku admitted, memories flickering past. Namek exploding, Cell's arena, Boo's rampage, tournament of power. I faced people who wanted to destroy my planet, my universe. Some of them I beat, some of them I barely survived. That's why I keep training. You never know when the next threat will be the one you're not ready for. I am Groot. "Yeah," Goku agreed, somehow understanding the tree's sentiment. "But that's what makes it worth it, right? Getting stronger, protecting people, finding out what you're really capable of." Rocket, walking ahead, called back without turning. "Great. The glowing space monkey is a philosopher, just what we needed." Despite the tension, Goku laughed. The Nova Corps headquarters on Xandar gleamed like a promise of civilization in the cosmic dark. All golden spires, energy shields, and the kind of architectural optimism that suggested people here still believed in things like justice and order. Goku found it inspiring and slightly naive in equal measure. The Milano sat in the Nova Corps' diplomatic docking bay, dwarfed by capital ships and patrol cruisers bearing the star-shaped insignia of the Corps. Through the viewport, Goku watched officers, human and alien alike, moving with military precision, their uniforms pristine, their helmets gleaming with advanced HUD technology. "These guys are the space police?" Goku asked. "Peacekeeping force," Star-Lord corrected. "They maintain order, defend innocent civilizations, and generally try to stop the galaxy from collapsing into anarchy. They're good people. Well, most of them. Some are bureaucratic nightmares, but you can't have everything." "I am Groot." "Yeah, they did try to arrest us that one time. Well, several times, but we're cool now." Gamora stood at the communications console, speaking with someone off-screen. Her expression was tense. The news about Annihilus and Thanos had that effect. After a moment, she closed the channel and turned to the group. "Nova Prime wants to meet with us immediately. She's mobilizing the fleet, but she wants intelligence on Goku's arrival and power levels. Apparently, Cosmo already sent word ahead." "Telepathic dog works fast," Rocket muttered, checking his weapons array one more time before they disembarked. They were escorted through the headquarters by a squad of Nova officers, their helmets' HUDs constantly scanning Goku with light that tickled against his ki sense. He resisted the urge to flex his aura. No need to fry their equipment before they'd even had a conversation. Nova Prime, Irani Rail, waited in a strategic command center that put the Capsule Corp's computer room to shame. Holographic displays showed star maps, fleet positions, and threat assessments updating in real time. The woman herself radiated authority, middle-aged by human standards, dark hair streaked with gray, eyes that had seen too many wars but still held determination. "Guardians," she greeted. Then her gaze locked on Goku and our dimensional anomaly. Cosmo's report was colorful. "Ma'am," Star-Lord said with surprising formality, "this is Goku. He's from an alternate Earth, arrived by accident through some kind of teleportation mishap. He helped us repel negative zone raiders on Nowhere and has offered to assist with the coming crisis. Rail circled Goku slowly, professional assessment in every movement. Our sensors detected your fight on Nowhere. The energy output from your transformation registered across 3 sectors. We're still trying to determine what you are. Saiyan, Goku supplied helpfully. Warrior race from my universe. We fight, we get stronger, we transform to multiply our power. Pretty straightforward. Nothing about you is straightforward, Rail said, but her tone wasn't hostile. Centurion Rider has requested to test your combat capabilities personally. He believes understanding your power level is crucial for tactical planning against the Annihilation wave. Richard's here? Gamora asked. Arrived an hour ago with preliminary scouting reports from the negative zone border. The barriers are degrading faster than predicted. Annihilus could breach within 48 hours. Rail pulled up a holographic display showing a region of space that made Goku's skin crawl. Reality itself looked wrong there, twisted and inverted. The Annihilation wave isn't just a fleet. It's an extinction event. Billions of soldiers, living weapons designed to consume all positive matter. If they reach populated sectors... She didn't need to finish. Goku had seen extinction events. He'd fought them, bled against them, lost people to them. Where do you need me? He asked. Rail almost smiled. Training Deck 7. Centurion Rider is waiting. Guardians, you're welcome to observe. And Rocket, we've prepared a scanning array to analyze Goku's energy signature during combat. Try not to destroy it. I make no promises, Rocket said cheerfully. Training Deck 7 was massive, easily the size of 10 tournament arenas from Goku's world. The floor was reinforced durasteel, the walls lined with energy-absorbing panels, and the ceiling open to a force field-protected view of Xandar's sky. In the center of the deck stood a man who made Goku's warrior instincts immediately sit up and take notice. Richard Rider, Centurion of the Nova Corps, wielder of the Nova Force, looked human but felt anything but. He wore the distinctive Nova uniform, dark blue bodysuit with golden star insignia, helmet with a distinctive crimson crest, but it was the energy radiating from him that caught Goku's attention. Power. Genuine cosmic-level power channeled through human biology and technological enhancement. So you're the dimensional tourist everyone's talking about, Richard said, his voice carrying the confident edge of someone who'd fought gods and lived. He was young, early 20s maybe, but his eyes held the weight of someone who'd seen civilizations fall. Goku, he introduced himself, bowing slightly, a habit from martial arts training that felt appropriate. I hear you want to test me? Need to, actually. Richard's helmet retracted, revealing a face that could have been any Earth kid's before war had hardened it. The Nova Force lets me sense energy on a cosmic scale. You read like nothing I've ever encountered. Not Kree enhancement, not Skrull biology, not Asgardian magic. Something completely foreign. If we're going to fight alongside each other against Annihilus, I need to know what you can do. I can respect that, Goku said, rolling his shoulders. How hard you want me to go? Hard enough to get real data. Don't worry about hurting me. The Nova Force has tanked hits from Heralds of Galactus. I can handle whatever you've got. From the observation deck above, Rocket set up his scanning equipment while the other Guardians settled in to watch. Star-Lord pulled out what appeared to be space popcorn. Drax vibrated with excitement at the prospect of witnessing true combat. I am Groot. Yeah, this is gonna be good, Rocket agreed. Goku and Richard faced each other across the training deck. No countdown, no formal announcement. Richard simply ignited the Nova Force. Golden energy blazing around him like a stellar corona, power radiating outward in waves that made the air shimmer. He launched himself forward at speeds that would have been invisible to normal humans. Goku caught his punch. Not with transformation, not with Kai techniques. Just base form, reading the attack through pure martial arts instinct, hand wrapping around Richard's fist and stopping the Nova Force-enhanced strike cold. Richard's eyes widened, behind his helmet. "Not bad," Goku said, grinning. "You're fast. Strong, too. Let me try something." He transformed. Golden aura exploded around him, hair spiking blonde, power multiplying 50-fold in an instant. Super Saiyan, the transformation that had been legendary in his universe, manifested in this new reality like coming home. Richard felt the shift. The Nova Force automatically compensated, drawing deeper reserves of cosmic energy. But Goku could tell the Centurion was genuinely surprised by the power spike. They clashed. Fist met fist, generating shockwaves that rattled the observation deck. Richard moved like a comet, the Nova Force granting him speed and strength that would shatter planets if unleashed without control. Goku matched him, still holding back significantly but giving the Centurion a real fight. "You're trained," Richard said between exchanges, dodging a kick and countering with an energy blast that Goku deflected with his palm. Actual martial arts, not just brawling. "Trained since I was a kid," Goku confirmed, weaving through Richard's attacks and returning measured strikes. "Fought in tournaments, wars, saved my universe a few times. You're pretty good yourself. That energy you're using, it's not your natural power, right? You're channeling it from somewhere." "The Nova Force. Cosmic energy wielded by the Nova Core. I'm connected to the entire world mind, a network of consciousness and power spanning the core." Richard unleashed a barrage of energy projectiles. "Gives me strength, speed, flight, energy projection, and a few other tricks." Goku dodged through the barrage like water flowing around stones, his movements economical and precise. He could feel Richard testing him, probing for limits, trying to gauge how much power the Saiyan actually possessed. Time to show him a little more. "Super Saiyan 2, Goku said and ascended. Electricity crackled through his aura. His hair became more rigid, more spiked. The golden energy intensified and his power doubled again. The training deck's reinforced floor cracked under the pressure of his transformation. Richard's Nova Force flared brighter in response, drawing more deeply from the world mind. "Okay, that's new. You can just stack transformations? Got a few more where that came from," Goku admitted. "But let's see how you handle this level first." They engaged again, and this time Goku let himself enjoy it. Richard was skilled, genuinely skilled, with combat experience that showed in every movement. The Nova Force granted him power comparable to Goku's lower transformations, and his tactics were smart. He used energy blasts for zoning, speed for repositioning, and physical strikes when openings presented themselves. But Goku had fought beings that could destroy galaxies, had trained under angels and gods, had pushed himself beyond every limit his biology imposed, then found new limits and shattered those too. He caught Richard in a grapple, twisted, and threw him across the training deck. The Centurion recovered mid-flight, arresting his momentum with the Nova Force and returning with an energy-charged punch that Goku blocked with crossed forearms. "You're incredible," Richard admitted, breathing hard. "How many of these transformations do you have?" "Depends on how you count," Goku said. "Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, then God forms blue and... Well, there's one more, but it's complicated." "Show me 3, Richard requested. "I need to see the upper end of your power for the tactical assessment." Goku hesitated. Super Saiyan 3 was intense. Massive power increase, but terrible energy drain. Still, this was about helping them understand what he could contribute against cosmic threats. "All right," he agreed, "but you might want to brace yourself." He powered up, past Super Saiyan 2 into the realm where his hair grew long and wild, golden energy cascading down his back, his eyebrows disappearing, his power tripling again. Super Saiyan 3 roared to life, and every sensor on the training deck immediately started screaming warnings. On the observation deck, Rocket's scanning equipment exploded. "I just built that!" the raccoon shrieked. The energy pressure alone forced Richard back several steps. The Nova Force burned at maximum output just to keep him standing. Through the world-mind connection, every Nova Centurion in the system felt the spike, a power level that registered as a cosmic tier threat. Richard struggled to find words. "That's approaching Herald level. You can just, access that." "Yeah, but it drains energy fast," Goku admitted, powering back down to base form. The transformation released, his hair falling back to black, his power settling to normal levels. "I don't use it unless I really need to. There are more efficient forms." Richard's helmet retracted again and he was laughing. Genuine, slightly unhinged laughter. "Annihilus is going to hate you. Thanos is going to hate you. Every cosmic warlord in the galaxy is going to want you dead or under their control." "Not the first time," Goku said cheerfully. Nova Prime's voice crackled over the training deck's intercom. "Gentlemen, I believe we have sufficient data. Goku, welcome to the Cosmic Tier Threat category. Centurion Rider, compile your assessment. Guardians, my office. We have invasion plans to discuss." As they filed out of the training deck, Drax clapped Goku on the shoulder hard enough to stagger a normal person. "You are truly mighty, Saiyan. When the annihilation wave comes, we will fight side by side and crush our enemies." "Looking forward to it," Goku said sincerely. Gamora walked beside him, her expression thoughtful. "That transformation, Super Saiyan 3, that's the strongest you have." "Nah," Goku admitted. "I've got God forms that are way stronger. Ultra Instinct is my peak, but I can't access it reliably yet. It's a technique more than a transformation. My body moves and fights without me, thinking. When it works, I can fight opponents way above my normal level. And you're offering this power to help us against Annihilus and Thanos?" "Of course. I don't know this universe, but I know what evil looks like. Beings that want to destroy civilizations, kill innocents, impose their will through force." Goku's expression hardened. "I've spent my whole life fighting people like that. I'm not going to stop just because I'm in a different reality." "I am Groot," Rocket translated, unusually serious. "He says you remind him of the good people, the ones who fight because it's right, not because they get something out of it." "That's what heroes do, right?" Goku asked. Star-Lord grinned. "Welcome to the Guardians, Goku. Unofficial member, official cosmic problem solver. Now let's go figure out how to stop 2 apocalypses at once." The briefing room's holographic display showed a nightmare. Goku stared at the 3-dimensional projection of the negative zone border. Reality itself twisted into impossible geometries, space-time inverted and hostile. Ships that shouldn't exist floated in that antimatter realm, millions of them, each one pulsing with malevolent energy. At the center of the fleet, a vessel so massive it dwarfed entire moons, the flagship of Annihilus. "The annihilation wave," Nova Prime Rail explained, her voice carrying the weight of someone delivering a death sentence. "Annihilus's army, composed of beings from the negative zone, creatures that exist in antimatter for whom our positive matter universe is toxic and desirable in equal measure. They've been attempting incursions for centuries. This time, the barriers are failing." Richard Ryder stood beside the projection, still radiating Nova Force energy from their sparring session. "We've lost 3 scout fleets already. They didn't retreat. They were annihilated." completely destroyed down to the molecular level. Annihilus isn't taking prisoners or conquering territory. He's erasing everything in his path. Goku studied the display, his warrior's mind automatically strategizing. How strong is this Annihilus? Personally, Herald level at minimum, Richard said. He wields the cosmic control rod, an artifact that grants him near immortality, energy manipulation, and control over the annihilation wave itself. But his real threat isn't personal power, it's the wave. Billions of soldiers, each one capable of destroying capital ships. Living weapons, biological cruisers. He doesn't just invade, he consumes. And Thanos? Gamora asked, her voice tight. What's his play? A second holographic display materialized. Another fleet, smaller but somehow more terrifying in its precision. Dark ships bearing the insignia of the Mad Titan, positioned in deep space, watching the negative zone disturbances with what felt like calculated interest. Thanos' forces are mobilizing, Rael said. We don't know why. Our intelligence suggests he's searching for something. An artifact, a weapon, possibly one of the Infinity Stones. But the timing is too coincidental. Annihilus breaching reality while Thanos moves his fleet. They're both after something, Star-Lord concluded. Or someone. Every eye in the room turned to Goku. What? He asked. You are dimensional anomaly, a new voice said. Cosmo the space dog telekinetically floated into the briefing room, his Soviet spacesuit gleaming. Your arrival registered across cosmic sensors. Beings who monitor reality fabric detected massive disturbance when you crossed universes. Both Annihilus and Thanos have networks of informants, mystics, technology. Is possible they are both aware of powerful warrior appearing from nowhere. Goku scratched his head. So they might be coming after me specifically? Or they might see you as a threat to eliminate, Gamora said. Thanos doesn't tolerate potential obstacles, and Annihilus would view any powerful being from the positive matter universe as a target for destruction. Is even worse, Cosmo continued. Collector has put out bounty. 20 million units for Saiyan specimen captured alive. Ravagers are mobilizing. Other mercenary groups are taking interest. You are very popular very quickly. That's not ideal, Goku admitted. I am Groot. Yeah, buddy, we're not letting anyone collect on Goku, Star-Lord assured the tree. He turned to Nova Prime. So what's the tactical situation? How do we defend against an annihilation wave while Thanos makes his move? Rael manipulated the holographic display, bringing up defensive positions. The Nova Corps fleet is mobilizing. Every Centurion, every capital ship, every defense platform between the negative zone border and populated sectors. We're evacuating colonies in the projected invasion path. But if the wave breaches at full strength, she didn't finish, but the implication was clear. We'll be overwhelmed, Richard said bluntly. The Corps is strong, but we're not built to fight extinction-level events on multiple fronts. If Annihilus commits his full forces while Thanos strikes simultaneously, we'll have to choose which threat to prioritize. We split up, Drax declared. Some fight Annihilation Wave, some confront Thanos. Simple strategy. Drax, we've got 5 people plus whatever reinforcements the Nova Corps can spare, Star-Lord pointed out. Against literal armies, the math doesn't work. Then we make math work, Rocket said, pulling up his own calculations on a portable display. Goku's power levels are off the charts. If he can reach that Super Saiyan 3 state in combat and maintain it, he's a single-entity weapon of mass destruction. We use him as a force multiplier, position him where he'll do the most damage. Goku frowned. I'm not just a weapon. I fight to protect people, not because someone points me at a target. Is not what Rocket means, Cosmo interjected gently. Is tactical assessment. You are powerful, yes, but you are also one being. Annihilation wave spreads across star systems. You cannot be everywhere. That's what I was afraid of, Goku said quietly. In his universe, he could instant transmission across a planet, even between planets if he had a KI signature to lock onto. But here, in this vast cosmic arena with billions of potential targets, he was powerful but not omnipresent. Gamora stepped forward, her tactical mind clearly working. We need to think asymmetrically. Annihilus controls the wave through the cosmic control rod. Thanos operates through fear and overwhelming force. Both are commanders, not just warriors. If we can disrupt their command structures... You want to assassinate them, Richard said. I want to win, Gamora corrected. Annihilus is functionally immortal with the rod, but he can be defeated, temporarily incapacitated. Thanos is dangerous, but not invincible. I've seen him bleed. If small strike teams can reach them while the main forces are engaged. Is suicide mission, Cosmo observed. Yeah, Star-Lord agreed. But it's our kind of suicide mission. Goku listened to this tactical discussion with growing respect. These people were outmatched, outnumbered, facing threats that could wipe out civilizations, and they were calmly planning how to punch above their weight class. It reminded him of the Z fighters planning against impossible odds. Piccolo's tactical brilliance, Vegeta's aggressive strategies, his own tendency to seek the direct confrontation. I'll fight Annihilus, Goku said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at him. You are confident, Drax approved. I've fought beings that wanted to destroy universes, Goku explained. Majin Buu, Frieza, Cell. All of them were extinction-level threats. I've learned that sometimes the best strategy is to challenge the biggest threat directly. Keep their attention on you. Give everyone else room to work. That's insane, Richard said, but he was smiling. I love it. Goku fights Annihilus, Star-Lord said, working through the plan. Guardians provide support and handle secondary targets. Nova Corps focuses fleet engagement on the wave itself. Meanwhile, I will face Thanos, Gamora said quietly. The room fell silent. Star-Lord's expression shifted. Concern, fear, protectiveness, all warring on his face. Gamora! He trained me, she interrupted. Tortured me, turned me into a weapon. I know how he thinks, how he fights. If anyone can get close enough to disrupt his plans, it's me. Then you won't go alone? Drax rumbled. Thanos destroyed my family, my world. I have vowed to see him fall. We hunt the Mad Titan together. I am Groot. Yeah, we're all going, Rocket added. Nobody faces Thanos alone. That's how people die. Nova Prime studied the group with an expression caught between admiration and concern. You're talking about splitting up, to engage two cosmic tier threats simultaneously, with minimal backup, while an invasion fleet tears through our defenses. The probability of success is low, Richard finished, but non-zero, and sometimes non-zero is all you need. He looked at Goku. You really think you can take Annihilus? I won't know until I try, Goku admitted honestly. But I've gotten pretty good at adapting to stronger opponents. Plus, I'm curious, how strong is this cosmic control rod compared to Infinity Stones? Fundamentally different power sources, Rael explained. Infinity Stones control aspects of reality itself: time, space, mind, soul, power, reality. The cosmic control rod is a stabilization artifact originally designed to prevent the negative zone's entropy. Annihilus perverted it into a weapon. With the rod, he can manipulate energy on a massive scale, maintain his life indefinitely, and coordinate the annihilation wave's hive mind. So if I can separate him from the rod, he becomes mortal, Richard confirmed. Still incredibly powerful but vulnerable. The problem is getting close enough. The annihilation wave will protect him with everything they have. Goku cracked his knuckles, grinning. Then I'll just have to fight through them. Is definitely insane, Cosmo muttered. But Cosmo has seen insane plans work before. Is why Guardians are still alive. All right, Star-Lord said, taking command with the confidence of someone who'd led his team through 100 impossible situations. We've got maybe 48 hours before the barriers collapse completely. Nova Corps focuses on evacuation and fleet positioning. Guardians prep the Milano for deep space combat. Rocket, I want every weapon system we've got operational and then some. Richard, coordinate with the Centurions. Goku, yeah? Try not to destroy any planets while training. We're gonna need them. As the briefing dispersed, Goku found himself on the observation deck overlooking Xandar's gleaming cityscape. The planet was beautiful, billions of lives going about their day, unaware of the extinction event building at the edge of known space. Gamora joined him, silent at first, just watching the city lights. You don't have to do this, she said finally. Fight our battles. Risk your life for a universe that isn't yours. Sure I do, Goku replied. I'm here. These are people who need help. Doesn't matter if it's my universe or not. Evil is evil, and someone's gotta stand against it. You sound like Star-Lord, or Captain America if Richard's stories about Earth's heroes are accurate. Never met Captain America, Goku said. But I've met a lot of people who fight because it's the right thing to do. That's just what good people do, you know? We get stronger so we can protect the people who can't protect themselves. And if you die doing it? Goku shrugged. Wouldn't be the first time. I've died twice already. Once fighting my brother, once fighting a creature called Cell who wanted to destroy Earth. Both times I came back eventually. Death's not the worst thing that can happen. Failing to protect people, that's worse. Gamora stared at him like he'd just spoken a foreign language. You've died. Twice. And you're this casual about it? Well, my universe has these things called Dragon Balls that can revive people, so death's not as permanent for me. Probably different here. He paused. Is it permanent here? Very. Then I'll try to avoid it, Goku promised. But I'm not going to hold back against Annihilus just because I might get hurt. That's not how I fight. I am Groot, the small tree said, appearing beside them with Rocket on his shoulder. Kid says you're either the bravest person he's met or the dumbest, Rocket translated. Jury's still out. Can be both, Goku said cheerfully. They stood together watching Xandar's lights, knowing that in 48 hours those lights might go dark forever. Somewhere beyond the stars, in a twisted realm of antimatter and entropy, Annihilus prepared his annihilation wave. Somewhere in deep space, Thanos' fleet moved with calculated purpose, and in the space between moments, Goku felt something he hadn't experienced since the Tournament of Power, genuine excitement. Not for the violence, not for the destruction, but for the test. For the chance to see how strong he'd truly become, measured against a completely new universe's standards. He transformed briefly, just a flicker of Super Saiyan golden aura flaring and fading, a promise to himself and to anyone watching. The annihilation wave was coming. Goku would be ready. The Milano's cargo bay had been transformed into a war room, courtesy of Rocket's manic engineering genius and Goku's enthusiastic but largely unhelpful assistance. Holographic displays showed the negative zone border, fleet positions, and what Rocket called probable death zones, which seemed to encompass most of known space. So let me get this straight, Goku said, floating cross-legged in midair while munching on something Rocket had called Xandarian protein bars that tasted like spicy cardboard. Annihilus's ships start breaching in approximately 36 hours. The Nova Corps forms the main defensive line. I fly ahead and challenge Annihilus directly. You guys handle Thanos, and we all hope we don't die. That's the plan in its most optimistic form, Star-Lord confirmed. Though I'd add a few more steps involving don't let billions of people get annihilated and somehow survive encounters with cosmic warlords. Drax sharpened his blades with methodical precision. It is good plan. Direct, honest. We face our enemies and crush them. I am Groot. Groot's got concerns about the not dying part, Rocket translated, checking weapon power cells, which I share. We're talking about Thanos. I've seen what he does to people. Gamora, you sure about this? Gamora stood before a holographic projection of Thanos' last known position, her expression unreadable. I've fought beside him, against him. I know his patterns. He'll have the sanctuary defended with the Black Order. Corvus Glaive, Proxima Midnight, Cull Obsidian, Ebony Maw. Each one powerful enough to destroy cities. Together, they're the reason Thanos has conquered so many worlds. Perfect, Star-Lord muttered. So we're not just fighting Thanos, we're fighting his murder squad. Is why you need strategy, not just firepower. Cosmo's telepathic voice echoed through the bay. The space dog materialized on a floating platform, his tail wagging despite the grim discussion. Cosmo has been consulting with Nova Corps intelligence and nowhere information brokers. Is interesting development. The hologram shifted, showing movement patterns. Thanos' fleet wasn't heading toward the negative zone disturbances. It was moving parallel, toward a sector of space marked with warning symbols. That's the kiln, Gamora said, recognition and confusion in her voice. A cosmic prison. Why would Thanos go there? Because something he wants is inside, Richard Ryder said, entering the cargo bay with Nova Force energy still crackling around him. We've been monitoring Kiln's security feeds. 3 days ago, someone or something was transferred there under maximum security protocols. Prisoner classification. Reality threat level Omega. The prisoner's identity is sealed, but the transfer was authorized by the Kree Empire. Goku set down his protein bar. You think Thanos is breaking someone out? Or eliminating a threat? Richard said. Thanos doesn't leave loose ends. If there's a prisoner who knows something about his plans or possesses something he needs, he'll want them dead or under his control. This changes the tactical picture, Gamora said, mind clearly racing. If Thanos is focused on the kiln, he might not be coordinating with Annihilus at all. They're both moving but toward different objectives. Which means we might not be facing a united threat, Star-Lord realized. It's still two cosmic nightmares, but at least they're not working together. Small mercies, Rocket grumbled. Goku listened to this with growing understanding. In his universe, enemy alliances were common, Frieza and Frost in the Tournament of Power, Goku Black and Zamasu's fusion. But those alliances usually fell apart when egos clashed. If Thanos and Annihilus weren't coordinating, that was an advantage, however slight. So we split the difference, he said. I still go after Annihilus and the Wave. You guys intercept Thanos at the kiln before he gets whatever he's after. We keep them separated and handle them individually. Goku, Richard said carefully. You understand you'll be alone out there? The Nova Corps will be engaging the Wave's Vanguard fleet, but you'll be pushing ahead to challenge Annihilus personally. No backup, no extraction. Just you against a being who's destroyed civilizations. Sounds familiar, Goku admitted. I fought a god of destruction alone once. Well, not alone. My friends were there. But the main battle was me versus Beerus, and that guy could destroy planets by tapping them. He paused. I lost, by the way. But I survived, got stronger, and next time I fought a god, I won. You fought gods, Gamora stated, multiple times. Yeah, Universe 7 has a bunch of them. 12 universes total, each with their own gods of destruction and angels who train them. I've sparred with a few, participated in a tournament where universes were on the line. It's complicated. Your home universe is insane, Rocket observed. Probably, Goku agreed cheerfully. I am Groot. The small tree's excited declaration drew everyone's attention. Groot had grown several feet taller in the past hour, branches extending excitedly, leaves rustling with what sounded like enthusiasm. Groot wants to come with Goku, Rocket translated, surprised. Says the Saiyans got a good heart, and good hearts shouldn't face monsters alone. Goku smiled at the tree person. I appreciate that, buddy, but this fight's going to be intense. I'll be moving at speeds that might be hard to keep up with, and I don't want anyone getting caught in the crossfire. I am Groot, more insistent. He says he's tougher than he looks. Also, he can regenerate from almost any damage as long as his core remains intact. Rocket's expression softened slightly. Kid's got a point, and having someone watch your back even against impossible odds, that's what Guardians do. Star-Lord looked between Goku and Groot, then at his team. Actually, that's not the worst idea. Groot's not as fragile as he seems. And if things go south for Goku, having even one Guardian there to help extract him could be the difference between survival and death. I do not need extraction, Drax said, misunderstanding. I will be fighting Thanos. Not you, Drax, Goku. Oh, yes. The Saiyan should have backup. Gamora nodded. Groot goes with Goku. The rest of us intercept Thanos at the kiln. It's not perfect, but it's better than leaving anyone completely alone. Goku felt something warm in his chest. The same feeling he got when his friends insisted on fighting beside him despite the overwhelming odds. These people barely knew him, but they already treated him like family, like one of their own. All right, he agreed. Groot and I will face the annihilation wave together. I am Groot, triumphant. Just so we're all clear, Richard said, pulling up tactical displays. The moment the negative zone barriers collapse, we're looking at cascading breaches across a dozen sectors. The wave will pour through like a flood. Nova Corps capital ships will engage first, establishing kill zones and fallback positions. Goku, you'll need to navigate through the initial breach point. Here. He indicated a point in space where reality looked especially unstable. That's where Annihilus's flagship will emerge. He always leads from the front. Good, Goku said, makes him easier to find. The cosmic control rod gives him a lot of advantages, Richard warned. Energy absorption, redirection, matter manipulation within his vicinity. He's also been alive for eons. He's not just powerful, he's experienced. Don't underestimate him because you fought gods in your universe. I never underestimate opponents, Goku said seriously. That's how you lose fights. I'll take him seriously, use everything I've got, but I'm also not going to fear him. Fear makes you hesitate, and hesitation gets people killed. Spoken like someone who's survived more than he should have, Gamora observed. Pretty much my whole life, Goku confirmed. Rocket finished his weapon checks and turned to Star-Lord. Milano's ready. Quad lasers operational. Hull reinforced with the Durasteel plating Nova Corps donated. Shields at maximum capacity. Won't stop a direct hit from a capital ship, but we'll survive longer than we should. That's the Guardian's way, Star-Lord said. Surviving longer than we should while doing impossible things. He looked around at his team, his family. We've fought Ronin, stopped ego from consuming the galaxy, faced down worse odds than this and came out the other side. This is just another Tuesday. I am Groot. Yeah, little man, we're terrified too, but we're doing it anyway." Goku watched this exchange with deep respect. These weren't the strongest fighters he'd ever met. Their power levels were impressive by normal standards, but modest compared to the gods and angels of his universe. But their courage, their determination to stand against impossible threats. That was the same spirit he'd seen in Krillin facing Frieza, in Gohan standing against Cell, in Vegeta charging Majin Buu despite knowing he'd die. Real strength wasn't just power. It was the will to keep fighting when every instinct screamed to run. "How much time do we have?" Goku asked. 34 hours until projected breach," Richard said. "Nova Corps recommends using that time for rest, strategic planning, and final preparations." "I'm going to train," Goku announced. Everyone stared at him. "Train?" Star-Lord repeated. "We're 34 hours from a cosmic apocalypse and you want to train?" "Best time to train," Goku said, standing and stretching. "I need to get a feel for how my ki works in this universe. Maybe test some techniques I haven't used in a while. Plus, I've been sitting still too long. Makes me antsy." "The warrior speaks wisdom," Drax approved. "Battle preparation includes both mind and body." "Is also possibly insane," Cosmo observed. "But Cosmo has learned that insanity and heroism often look similar." Richard smiled. "There's a training facility on the Nova Corps station. It's designed for Centurions to push their limits. I could use another session myself. My connection to the Nova Force could be stronger." "Perfect," Goku said. "Want to spar again? I'll keep it friendly, but I'd like to see how your cosmic energy reacts to different KI techniques." "You're offering to train the guy who's supposed to be coordinating the defense fleet." "Are you busy right now?" Richard laughed. "Fair point." "All right, Saiyan, let's see what else you've got." As they prepared to head to the training facility, Gamora pulled Goku aside. Her expression was serious, the warrior behind the assassin's mask fully visible. "When you face Annihilus," she said quietly, "remember that he's not just trying to win. He's trying to end all positive matter existence. He sees you, me, everyone in this universe as an abomination that needs to be corrected. There's no reasoning with him, no mercy, no surrender. So I fight him until one of us can't fight anymore," Goku said. "Got it. And if you can't win?" Goku met her eyes, his expression completely sincere. "Then I'll hold him off long enough for everyone else to escape. That's what we do, right? We buy time for others to survive." Gamora was silent for a long moment. Then, unexpectedly, she placed a hand on his shoulder. A gesture of solidarity, warrior to warrior. "You really do remind me of the best people I've known," she said. "The ones who choose to fight even when it means sacrifice. Star-Lord, Richard Rider, even my sister in her own complicated way. They sound like good people." "They are. Try not to die out there, Goku. The galaxy could use more heroes who fight with a smile." "I'll do my best," Goku promised. Training facility Sigma 7 had seen better days after Goku and Richard's light sparring session. 3 walls bore fist-shaped craters. The reinforced floor had developed a system of cracks resembling a spider web, and 2 observation decks windows had been replaced with emergency force fields after the originals shattered from pressure waves. "You call that light sparring?" one of the Nova technicians asked, surveying the damage with a mixture of horror and fascination. "We held back significantly," Richard said, powering down his Nova force. Sweat dripped from his face, but he was grinning. "Goku's got this technique where he multiplies his power while keeping his energy signature low. It's incredible. I could barely track him." Goku reverted from Super Saiyan God, the red-haired form that he'd been working with, testing how divine ki interacted with Marvel's cosmic energy. The results had been enlightening. Divine Ki didn't register on the Nova Corps' standard sensors, which meant he could potentially approach threats without being detected until he attacked. That God form, Richard said, accepting a water container from a technician. That's different from your Super Saiyan transformations? Yeah. Super Saiyan is about multiplying my base power through anger and pressure. God forms use divine Kai, energy of gods and angels. It's more refined, more controlled. Doesn't strain my body as much as Super Saiyan 3, but it's harder to maintain if I haven't trained recently. How many of these forms do you actually have? Goku counted on his fingers. Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, God Blue, that's God plus Super Saiyan and Ultra Instinct, though that's more a technique than a transformation. So, 6, 7 if you count the combinations. That's absurd. Saiyans adapt, Goku explained. Every time we face a stronger opponent, we push past our limits, break through our ceilings. Then we find new ceilings and break through those too. It's kind of our thing. They walked through the Nova Corps station's corridors, drawing stares from officers and centurions. Word had spread about the dimensional warrior training with Centurion Rider, and the resulting power readings had the entire station buzzing. Nova Prime wants to see you, Richard said. Something about final tactical briefing. But between you and me, I think she wants to make sure you're actually real and not some elaborate hallucination we're all sharing. They found Nova Prime Rail in the command center, surrounded by holographic displays showing fleet positions. The woman looked like she hadn't slept in days, but her eyes remained sharp, tactical mind clearly working through countless scenarios. Centurion, Goku, she gestured to the displays. We've had developments. The negative zone barriers are degrading faster than predicted. Breach estimate is now 28 hours, possibly less. We're moving up evacuation timetables, but some colonies are refusing to leave. They don't believe the threat is real. Show them the footage from the last annihilation wave, Richard suggested. We have. They think it's propaganda, or that the Nova Corps will protect them. Rail's expression was pained. They don't understand that we can't protect everyone. Not against this. What if they saw me? Goku offered. I mean, I'm a guy from another universe with transformations that make me glow. That's pretty attention-getting. If I go to one of the colonies and help with evacuation, show them this is serious. Rail considered this. It's not standard protocol to use an unknown asset for civilian morale operations. Nothing about this situation is standard, Richard pointed out. I am Groot, the small tree agreed, appearing in the command center with Rocket on his shoulder. Where did you two come from? Rail asked. Ventilation shafts, Rocket said. They're surprisingly spacious. We've been listening to your briefings. Groot and I have a suggestion. I'm almost afraid to ask. Goku goes to the most stubborn colony. Rocket pulled up a display showing a mining outpost in the projected invasion path and demonstrates exactly why they should be scared. Super Saiyan light show some energy blasts into empty space, maybe transform into that god form thing. Meanwhile, we load up refugee ships with his help. People see the pretty glowing warrior helping them personally. They'll be more inclined to trust the evacuation. It was, Goku had to admit, a pretty good plan. And it would give him a chance to do some good before the fighting started. Save lives directly, rather than just preparing to face a cosmic threat. I'll do it, he said. Rail looked between Goku, Richard, and the raccoon with the military-grade weapon. Finally, she nodded. Approved. But you take a Nova escort. And Goku? Try not to accidentally destroy the colony you're trying to save. I'll be careful, Goku promised. The mining colony of Harani IV clung to an asteroid rich in exotic metals, used in starship construction. 17,000 people called the cramped habitation domes home. and according to the reports, exactly 0 of them wanted to evacuate. We've survived pirate raids, ore strikes, and a Badoon slaver attempt, the colony administrator, a blue-skinned Cree named Sartor, told them flatly. We're not abandoning our homes because of rumors about the negative zone. These aren't rumors, Richard said, his Nova Force glowing faintly with frustration. The annihilation wave is real and it's coming straight through this sector. The Nova Corps has protected this region for decades. You'll protect us now. Goku stepped forward. He'd powered down to base form, wanting to seem approachable rather than threatening. Sir, I understand not wanting to leave your home, but I've seen what happens when people stay behind against impossible odds. Sometimes courage means knowing when to retreat so you can fight another day. Sartor looked Goku up and down, clearly unimpressed by what appeared to be a human in an orange and blue martial arts GI. And what would you know about impossible odds, outsider? Want me to show you? Before the administrator could respond, Goku walked outside the habitation dome's airlock. The asteroid's surface was barren, pockmarked with mining equipment and excavated tunnels. Beyond the dome, space stretched infinite and hostile. Goku transformed. Golden aura exploded around him, hair spiking upward and shifting to blonde. Super Saiyan power radiating across the asteroid with enough force to rattle the dome's windows. Miners stopped work to stare. Families pressed against the transparent aluminum viewports. Then he ascended further. Super Saiyan 2, electricity crackling through his aura. The asteroid's dust began to float upward, responding to his energy. Mining equipment hummed as electromagnetic interference rippled outward. I am Groot! The tree child had followed him outside, branches extending excitedly. Goku powered up to Super Saiyan 3. Full transformation, hair cascading down his back in golden waves, eyebrows disappearing, power tripling instantly. The asteroid trembled. In the command center, every sensor screamed warnings about energy readings that shouldn't be possible. Then, to really drive the point home, he fired a Kamehameha into empty space. Kamehameha! The beam of concentrated ki erupted from his palms, brilliant blue-white energy that could have vaporized planets if he'd aimed it anywhere important. It streaked into the void, illuminating the darkness, a demonstration of power that every ship in the sector probably detected. Inside the dome, Sartor stood frozen, blue skin pale. That, Richard said from beside the administrator, is what Goku can do on a good day. The annihilation wave has billions of soldiers, each one powerful enough to destroy this colony. Annihilus himself makes Goku's demonstration look like a firecracker. The wave is coming. You can evacuate now and live, or you can stay and become part of the extinction statistics. Choose. The evacuation began immediately. Over the next 12 hours, Goku and Groot became the most unexpected refugee assistance team in the galaxy. Goku used his strength to load cargo ships with supplies that would have taken days with standard equipment. Groot extended branches to create temporary shelters and comfort crying children. Rocket coordinated logistics with terrifying efficiency, while Richard's Nova Force helped transport the elderly and infirm directly to waiting ships. You're good at this, one of the refugees, a young Kree girl, told Goku as he helped her family board a transport. Being a hero. I just do what I can, Goku said, smiling. Besides, heroes are supposed to help people, right? Not just fight bad guys. I am Groot. Yeah, buddy. Sometimes the best battles are the ones you prevent. By the time they finished, 17,000 refugees were safely aboard. Evacuation ships heading toward Nova Corps protected sectors. Hiranithamothor stood empty, its domes dark, mining equipment abandoned. It would likely be destroyed when the annihilation wave breached. But the people who'd called it home would survive. 24 hours to breach, Richard said, checking his Nova Force chronometer as they returned to the Milano. Nova Corps fleet is in position. The Guardians are prepping for the Keelan operation. This is really happening. Goku looked out at the stars. So many stars, more than his universe, each one representing countless worlds and lives. Somewhere beyond them, Annihilus prepared his extinction event. Somewhere else, Thanos moved with calculated purpose. "Tell me about him," Goku said suddenly. "Annihilus. Not his powers or his army. What kind of person is he?" Richard was quiet for a moment, considering. He's not a person, not really. He's a force of nature that gained consciousness. Born in the negative zone, a realm of antimatter, and entropy where everything decays. He clawed his way to power, found the cosmic control rod, made himself functionally immortal. But here's the thing. He's not evil the way Thanos is evil. Thanos believes in his philosophy, twisted as it is. Annihilus just hates. He hates that positive matter exists. Hates that life thrives here while his universe slowly dies. He wants to drag everything down into the same entropic nightmare he came from. "So he's suffering," Goku said. "And he wants everyone else to suffer too." "I guess. Never thought about it that way. I've fought people like that. Beings born into pain who decided everyone else should feel it too." Goku's expression turned sad. "Sometimes you can reach them. Show them there's another way. Other times," he didn't finish. "Other times you have to stop them," Richard completed. "Whatever it takes." "I am Groot." Solemn agreement. They returned to the Milano to find the other Guardians in full combat preparation. Gamora checked her sword edge for the 10th time. Drax meditated, his blades laid before him in ritual arrangement. Rocket-loaded ammunition types Goku didn't recognize. Star-Lord reviewed tactical maps, jaw set with determination. "Fleet's in position," Star-Lord said without looking up. "Nova Corps established defensive perimeter. We've got clearance to proceed to the kiln. Mission parameters unchanged. Intercept Thanos, prevent whatever he's planning, try not to die." "Is good plan," Cosmo's telepathic voice echoed. "Cosmo will be monitoring both operations from nowhere. We'll relay intelligence as situation develops." "How's the defense looking?" Gamora asked. "Tenuous," Richard admitted. "We've got 300 Centurions positioned at the breach point, 50 capital ships and thousands of fighter craft. Against the annihilation wave's millions, we'll slow them down, maybe even hold them for a while. But unless Goku can eliminate Annihilus quickly, we're looking at a fighting retreat that'll cost billions of lives." "No pressure," Goku said, but his smile didn't quite reach his eyes. The gravity of the situation had finally settled on him. This wasn't a tournament with safety measures and rules. This wasn't even a battle against a single powerful opponent where he could instant transmission away if things went badly. This was total war, the kind where entire civilizations lived or died based on split-second decisions and whether heroes were strong enough to stand against the tide. "Goku," Star-Lord said finally, looking up from his maps. "Before we split up, I want you to know, you don't owe this universe anything. You didn't ask to be here. You're not responsible for the annihilation wave or Thanos or any of this cosmic nightmare. If you want to stay with the evacuation efforts, help save lives that way, no one would blame you." "I know," Goku said, "but I can't sit back when I know I could make a difference. That's just not who I am." "Figured you'd say that." Star-Lord extended his hand. "Good luck out there, Saiyan. Give Annihilus hell." Goku shook his hand, then moved to each Guardian in turn. Gamora's handshake was brief but carried genuine respect. Drax's nearly broke his bones despite Goku's enhanced durability. Rocket bumped fists with him while making threats about equipment damage. And Groot. "I am Groot," the tree child said softly. "Yeah," Goku agreed, somehow understanding. "We'll watch each other's backs." As the Guardians prepared to depart for the kiln, Goku and Groot returned to Richard's Nova Corps ship, a small, fast interceptor that would carry them to the negative zone breach point. The vastness of space stretched before them, deceptively peaceful. 22 hours, Richard said, initiating launch sequence. Then reality tears open and hell pours through. You ready? Goku closed his eyes, centered himself, felt his Kai flowing through his body like a familiar current. He thought of his friends back, home, Vegeta's pride, Gohan's courage, Piccolo's wisdom, Krillin's loyalty. They'd faced impossible odds too, and they'd survived through will and determination. He thought of the refugees from Hirani IV, the miners and families who'd trusted him to help them escape, the billions more across the galaxy who had no idea extinction was coming. He thought of the Guardians preparing to face Thanos with nothing but courage and each other. And he transformed, not to any Super Saiyan form, but to Super Saiyan God. Red hair, red aura, divine ki burning like a gentle flame. The power felt right, controlled, ready. "Yeah," Goku said, eyes opening with determination. "I'm ready. Let's go save a universe." The negative zone breach point looked like reality was throwing up. Space didn't just distort at the barrier, it inverted, twisted into impossible geometries that hurt to look at directly. Matter became antimatter and back again in cascading waves. Stars visible through the breach shone with colors that violated physics, burning with energies that shouldn't exist in positive space. And through that nightmare portal, Goku could feel them. Millions of hostile presences, each one radiating hunger, hatred, and the existential wrongness of antimatter beings forced to acknowledge a universe that rejected their existence. The annihilation wave. "Holy shit," Richard breathed beside him in the interceptor's cockpit. "It's worse than the reports. That's not just an invasion fleet, that's an army built to end everything," Goku finished. His divine Kai senses could feel the scope now, not just millions but possibly billions of soldiers, ships, living weapons. All of them focused on a single purpose: destroy all positive matter life. "I am Groot," the tree child said from the passenger compartment, branches extending nervously. "Yeah, little man," Richard agreed. "This is bad." The Nova Corps fleet floated in battle formation around them. 300 Centurions blazed with golden Nova Force energy, forming a picket line of living weapons. Behind them, capital ships charged their main guns, plasma cannons, photon torpedoes, experimental weapons that could crack moons. Fighter squadrons performed pre-battle checks, pilots no doubt aware this might be the last engagement they'd ever fly. Goku could feel it all: the fear, the determination, the acceptance that many of them wouldn't survive this day. It reminded him of the Tournament of Power's final moments, the entire universe's survival depending on whether he could push beyond his limits one more time. A holographic calm flickered to life. Nova Prime Rail's face appeared, tired but resolute. "All units, final status. Check. Centurion Rider, confirm position." "Breach observation point Alpha," Richard reported. "Goku and Groot are with me, ready to deploy on your mark." "Understood." Rail's gaze shifted to Goku. "Saiyan warrior, you're about to attempt something unprecedented. Single combat against a cosmic tier threat while an extinction event unfolds around you. The tactical parameters are simple. Keep Annihilus engaged and occupied for as long as possible. Every second you buy us is a second the fleet uses to thin the wave's numbers and protect evacuation routes. Don't be a hero. Be a distraction." "With respect, ma'am," Goku said, "I'm going to try to win." Rail almost smiled. "Of course you are. Because you're insane. Just like every other hero I've ever known." She straightened. "All units. The negative zone barriers will collapse in approximately 90 seconds. When they do, the annihilation wave will breach immediately. Capital ships will engage at range. Centurions will form strike teams to eliminate high-value targets. Fighter squadrons will..." Space screamed. The breach detonated early, reality tearing like wet paper. The barrier between positive matter and antimatter space exploded outward in a wave of energy that would have vaporized anything without protection. Richard's interceptor shields flared, absorbing the shockwave. Across the fleet, ships rocked but held position. And through the breach they came. The first wave was the Seekers. Insectoid antimatter creatures the size of fighters, each one radiating hostile energy. They poured through by the thousands, chittering and shrieking in frequencies that bypassed hearing and went straight to primal fear centers. Behind them, capital ships emerged, massive biomechanical horrors that were part vessel, part living organism, bristling with weapons that crackled with negative zone energy. "All ships, engage!" Rail's command cut through the comm channels. The Nova Corps fleet opened fire, plasma cannons painted space with deadly light. Photon torpedoes streaked toward the emerging capital ships. Nova Centurions blazed forward, each one a golden comet of destruction tearing through Seekers with controlled bursts of Nova force. The universe became war. Goku watched it unfold for 3 seconds, taking in the tactical picture. The Nova Corps was good, really good. Coordinated fire, strategic positioning, Centurions operating as force multipliers. But the sheer numbers of the annihilation wave were already overwhelming. For every Seeker destroyed, 3 more poured through the breach. For every capital ship damaged, 2 more emerged. "Goku," Richard said urgently, "you need to go. Now, before the wave's full strength deploys." "I see him," Goku said, his divine Kai senses locking onto a presence that made everything else feel insignificant. At the center of the breach, a ship emerged that dwarfed everything else. The flagship was miles long, shaped like a jagged blade covered in organic armor that pulsed with antimatter energy. And standing on its command deck, visible through Goku's enhanced perception, was him. Annihilus. 7 feet of insectoid nightmare wrapped in armor forged from negative zone alloys. 4 arms ending in claws that could tear through starship hulls. Wings capable of faster-than-light flight in vacuum. Eyes that burned with billions of years of accumulated hatred for everything that existed in positive space. And clutched in his primary hand, the cosmic control rod. A simple-looking staff that blazed with power that made Goku's instincts scream warnings. That artifact alone radiated enough energy to crack planets. "That's him," Goku confirmed. "He feels old, ancient, and really, really angry." "I am Groot," battle cry from the tree child. "No, buddy, you're staying with Richard," Goku said gently. "I'm going to move fast, probably transform multiple times. It'll be dangerous to be near me once the real fighting starts, but I need you to do something important. If I lose, if Annihilus kills me, you get Richard out of here. Make sure the evacuation continues, promise me." Groot's branches drooped, but he nodded. "I am Groot." "Good man." Goku opened the interceptor's airlock. Vacuum didn't bother him in Super Saiyan God form. Divine Ki sustained him completely, allowing him to survive in space indefinitely. He floated out into the war zone, dodging a Seeker that tried to intercept him, his aura blazing red against the darkness. "Goku," Richard called over the comm. "Whatever happens, it's been an honor training with you." "Same here," Goku replied. Now watch this. I'm going to show Annihilus why you don't mess with Saiyans. He shot forward like a crimson comet, divine ki propelling him through the battlefield at speeds that made most of the combatants appear frozen. He weaved through plasma fire, dodged antimatter beams, and accelerated toward the flagship with singular focus. Seekers tried to intercept. Goku destroyed them without slowing. Ki blasts that detonated on impact, each one precise and instantly lethal. This wasn't a tournament, this wasn't sparring, this was war, and he couldn't afford to hold back against the endless tide. The flagship's defenses activated, energy cannons tracked his approach and fired concentrated beams of negative zone energy. Goku twisted through the attacks, reading their trajectories through instinct and divine Kai perception. One beam grazed his shoulder, pain flared, actual damage. The antimatter energy corroding his divine ki for a moment before his Saiyan healing factor compensated. Okay, these weapons could hurt him. Good to know. He reached the flagship's exterior and punched through the armor plating. The biomechanical hull shrieked, a sound that carried through vacuum via vibrations bone deep and wrong. Goku tore through corridors filled with annihilation wave soldiers, each one dying before they could react. He wasn't here for them, he was here for their master. The command deck opened before him, massive space filled with alien technology and organic growths that pulsed with the ship's hybrid life. And at its center, standing with absolute confidence, Annihilus waited. So, the Lord of the Negative Zone spoke, his voice carrying harmonics that hurt human ears. You are the dimensional anomaly, the Saiyan warrior who appeared in our positive matter universe like a beacon of arrogant flesh. Goku dropped his combat stance slightly, still ready but not immediately attacking. His martial arts teachers had taught him to understand opponents when possible. Annihilus, I'm Goku. I'd say it's nice to meet you, but you're trying to destroy billions of innocent lives, so I'm going to have to stop you. Annihilus laughed, a sound like stars dying. Stop me? Insect. Flesh thing. You have no comprehension of what you face. I am Annihilus. I am the living death that waits for all things. I have conquered thousands of realities, ended civilizations older than your species' entire existence. Yeah, I've heard the speech before, Goku said. Frieza said something similar before I beat him. So did Majin Buu. So did Zamasu. Guys with god complexes all sound pretty much the same. His aura flared brighter. But here's the thing. I don't care how old you are or how many people you've killed. You're threatening innocent lives. That means I fight you. That's the deal. The cosmic control rod blazed brighter in Annihilus's grip. Then come, Saiyan. Let me show you the difference between your primitive transformations and true cosmic power. Annihilus moved. Faster than Goku expected. Faster than should have been possible for something his size. The Lord of the Negative Zone crossed the command deck in a blur. 4 arms striking simultaneously, each one backed by strength that could shatter mountains. Goku blocked the first 3 strikes and took the 4th on his shoulder. The impact sent him crashing through bulkheads, his body tearing through reinforced walls like they were paper. Pain exploded across his body, real pain, the kind that reminded him he could be hurt, could be killed. He arrested his momentum and burst back through the holes he'd created. Annihilus was already moving to intercept, the cosmic control rod discharging beams of energy that could atomize normal matter. Goku dodged, feeling the heat wash over him, and counterattacked with a spinning kick that caught Annihilus across his armored jaw. The sound was like a bell made of bones being struck. Annihilus's head snapped to the side, and for a moment, just a moment, genuine surprise flickered across his alien features. You actually wounded me, Annihilus said, almost curious. How quaint. Let me return the favor. The rod blazed. Energy erupted from it in waves, not beams, not blasts, but reality-warping power that tried to unmake Goku at the atomic level. Divine Ki flared in response, protecting him, but he could feel the rod's power eating at his defenses. This wasn't going to be like fighting Frieza. This wasn't even going to be like fighting Beerus. This was going to be a war of attrition against a being that had perfected cosmic-level combat over eons. Goku grinned despite the danger, despite the fear, despite knowing he might die here in space far from home fighting for a universe that wasn't his. Because this was what it meant to be a Saiyan, to face impossible odds and laugh in their face. "All right, Annihilus," he said, Divine Ki blazing even brighter. "Let's see if you can keep up. Kaioken times 20. Red divine aura exploded into crimson fury as Goku multiplied his already enhanced power. His speed doubled, tripled, quadrupled. He became a blur of motion, striking Annihilus from 12 angles simultaneously, each hit carrying enough force to crater planets. Annihilus roared and met him blow for blow. The command deck exploded around them. The flagship began to tear itself apart from the pressure of their combat. And across the battlefield, every sensor in the Nova Corps fleet detected the impossible. Two cosmic tier powers were fighting at full strength, and reality itself was starting to take damage. "I am Groot!" The tree child's cry carried through Richard's calm, equal parts awe and terror. "Yeah," Richard agreed, watching the flagship's hull rupture as golden and red energy erupted from within. The Saiyans really giving him everything. But would everything be enough? The flagship of Annihilus tore itself apart from the inside out. Goku and the Lord of the Negative Zone fought through bulkheads and weapon systems, their battle turning miles of biomechanical warship into debris. Every punch Goku landed created shockwaves that rippled through the vessel's structure. Every energy blast from the cosmic control rod carved corridors of destruction through reinforced armor. Outside, the Nova Corps fleet fought desperately to contain the Annihilation Wave's vanguard. 300 Centurions blazed through space like golden stars, each one a warrior of incredible skill and power. But the numbers were overwhelming. Seekers swarmed in formations that blocked out the stars. Capital ships emerged from the breach in endless procession, their weapons painting space with antimatter fire. Richard Rider led a strike team of 20 Centurions against a cluster of Annihilation capital ships, his Nova Force burning at maximum output. "Target the power cores! Coordinated strikes on my mark!" The Centurions dove in perfect formation, golden energy trailing behind them like comet tails. They unleashed concentrated Nova Force beams simultaneously, 20 lances of cosmic power converging on a single capital ship's reactor. The ship detonated in a cascade of antimatter explosions, taking out 3 Seekers squadrons in the blast radius. "One down," Richard panted, already positioning for the next target. 300,000 to go. "I am Groot." The tree child had somehow convinced Richard to let him help, using his branches to create shields that protected damaged Nova fighters as they retreated to the carrier groups. "Kid, you're supposed to be on the ship." "I am Groot." Defiant. "Fine, but stay close and break." A massive antimatter beam cut through space where they'd been hovering. Richard and Groot scattered, the beam vaporizing 2 fighters that couldn't evade in time. More Annihilation ships poured through the breach, each one adding to the impossible arithmetic of the battle. They were losing ground. Slowly, methodically, the wave was pushing the Nova Corps fleet back. Inside the flagship, Goku fought with everything he had. Kaioken times 20 plus Super Saiyan God gave him power that rivaled the strongest opponents he'd ever faced. His fists moved faster than light, creating afterimages that confused even Annihilus's ancient combat experience. He unleashed Kamehameha waves that carved through the ship's interior, forcing Annihilus to defend rather than attack. But the Lord of the Negative Zone was adapting. "You fight well, Saiyan," Annihilus admitted, blocking a kick that would have shattered his ribs and countering with a claw strike that opened 3 parallel cuts across Goku's chest. "But you fight with passion, with emotion. I have fought for eons. I have perfected combat beyond your comprehension." The cosmic control rod blazed and reality bent. Goku felt his Kaioken multiplicator and destabilize. The rod was somehow interfering with his ki manipulation, trying to disrupt the technique at its source. He powered down the Kaioken before it could tear him apart and immediately transformed. Golden aura replaced red. Super Saiyan blue, the combination of Super Saiyan and divine ki, erupted around him. His hair shifted to brilliant cyan, his eyes became teal, and his power skyrocketed to levels that made the flagship's remaining structure groan. "That's a new color," Annihilus observed. "How many transformations do you possess, monkey?" "Enough," Goku said, and attacked. Blue was different from God. Where God focused on efficiency and divine energy, blue was raw power. The multiplicative strength of Super Saiyan combined with godly ki's refined control. Goku moved like a storm made flesh, each strike carrying enough force to shatter moons. He caught Annihilus with an uppercut that sent the ancient being crashing through 12 decks, followed up with a barrage of Kai, blasts that detonated like shaped charges targeting joints in Annihilus's armor. Teleported using instant transmission, still functional here, thanked the Supreme Kai, and appeared behind Annihilus to deliver a hammer blow to the spine. Annihilus roared in genuine pain. One of his forearms hung limply, armor cracked, green ichor leaking into space. The cosmic control rod pulsed and the injuries began to heal, but slowly the regeneration struggling against the damage Goku had inflicted. "Impossible," Annihilus snarled. "You're just a warrior from a primitive universe. You shouldn't be able to..." Goku hit him again, and again. A combination that would have made Master Roshi proud. Feint high, strike low, knee to the midsection, spinning kick to create distance, then instant Kamehameha at point-blank range. Kamehameha! The beam of blue-white energy engulfed Annihilus completely. The Lord of the Negative Zone screamed as divine ki seared his antimatter biology, burning away armor and flesh. The flagship's command deck exploded, venting atmosphere and bodies into space. For a moment, just one glorious moment, Goku thought he might actually win this quickly. Then Annihilus emerged from the beam, armor regenerating, all 4 arms functional again, and his eyes burning with fury that transcended mere hatred. "Enough!" The cosmic control rod blazed brighter than a star. "You want to see true power, Saiyan? Let me show you what it means to face a being who has mastered cosmic energy." The rod discharged. Not a beam, not an explosion. A wave of pure reality-warping energy that tried to unmake Goku at the fundamental level. His atoms screamed as antimatter energy from the Negative Zone flooded over him, trying to convert his positive matter body into its antimatter equivalent, which would cause instant annihilation. Goku's Super Saiyan blue aura flared desperately, divine ki fighting against the conversion. Pain unlike anything he'd experienced since fighting Jiren, erupted through every cell. His body was being torn apart and rebuilt simultaneously, caught between 2 incompatible states of existence. He couldn't win this way. Blue was powerful, but the rod was specifically designed to manipulate reality on a cosmic scale. He needed something more, something that transcended normal transformation. He needed Ultra Instinct. But Ultra Instinct didn't come on command. It appeared in moments of absolute necessity when his conscious mind gave up control and let his body act on pure instinct. He'd only achieved it fully once, against Jiren, and even then it had nearly killed him from the strain. Die, insect! Annihilus pressed the attack, all four arms striking in coordinated patterns while the rod continued its reality-warping assault. Your universe sent you here to die. Accept your fate. No. Goku's mind rejected the idea even as his body screamed in agony. He hadn't come this far, survived this much just to fail here. The refugees from Hirani, AV, were counting on him. The Nova Corps fighting desperately outside were counting on him. Groot was counting on him. The Guardians, somewhere else in the galaxy facing Thanos, were counting on him to handle this threat so they could handle theirs. He couldn't fail them, won't fail them. His consciousness slipped. Silver light began to seep through the blue aura. Goku's hair flickered, blue to black to silver white. His eyes shifted, becoming mercury-colored, pupils disappearing. The pain faded not because it stopped, but because his body stopped registering it as important. Ultra instinct. His body moved before Annihilus could react, dodged the four-armed assault with movements so fluid they seemed choreographed. Struck back with precision that bypassed armor and hit vital points that Annihilus didn't even know he had. The cosmic control rod's energy wave washed over him harmlessly. His body simply wasn't where the attack expected him to be. What? Annihilus began. Goku's fist buried itself in the Lord of the Negative Zone's stomach with force that created a shock wave visible from the fleet. Annihilus doubled over, ichor spraying from his mouth. Goku was already moving. Elbow to the spine, kick to the knee joint, palm strike to the chest that cracked armor and ribs simultaneously. Ultra Instinct wasn't about power. It was about perfection. Every movement optimized, every attack hitting with maximum efficiency, every defense executed with minimal energy. Goku's body fought as if it had studied Annihilus for years instead of minutes, exploiting weaknesses in real time, adapting to the ancient being's combat patterns faster than thought. Annihilus swung the cosmic control rod desperately. Goku caught it. Silver aura met cosmic energy, and for a moment the two forces equalized. Goku could feel the rod's power now, ancient, vast, designed to stabilize entropy itself. It was trying to disrupt his ultra instinct, introduce chaos into his perfect movements. His body responded instinctively. Instead of fighting the rod's energy, he redirected it. Used Annihilus's own strength against him, a technique he'd learned from Master Roshi decades ago. The rod's energy discharge curved back on itself, slamming into Annihilus with his own power multiplied. The Lord of the Negative Zone screamed, a sound that carried across dimensions, raw and primal. His grip on the cosmic control rod faltered. Goku ripped it from his grasp. The artifact felt wrong in his hands, antimatter energy trying to corrupt his positive matter biology. But Ultra Instinct's perfect control allowed him to hold it without being destroyed. For 3 seconds, Goku held the source of Annihilus's power, the artifact that had made him functionally immortal and infinitely dangerous. Then he snapped it in half. The cosmic control rod shattered, its energy discharged in a wave that obliterated what remained of the flagship, sending fragments spinning into space. Annihilus, suddenly, mortal for the first time in eons, stared at his empty hands in disbelief. "No," he whispered. "No, that was mine. My power, my immortality. You can't." "I just did," Goku said, Ultra Instinct fading as exhaustion crashed over him like a tidal wave. He dropped back to base form, silver aura vanishing, his body suddenly registering every injury he'd ignored while transformed. "Your invasion is over, Annihilus. Surrender. Let your army retreat. No one else has to die today." Annihilus looked at him, at the Saiyan warrior who had somehow impossibly broken the artifact that had made him a god. And in that moment, something ancient and terrible broke inside the Lord of the Negative Zone. "If I cannot have immortality," Annihilus said, voice hollow, "then I will have apocalypse." He triggered the flagship's self-destruct. Every reactor, every weapon system, every antimatter containment field destabilized simultaneously. The ship became a bomb powerful enough to vaporize everything within 100,000 miles, including most of the Nova Corps fleet. Goku felt it happening and made a choice. He gathered every scrap of remaining ki, transformed one more time into Super Saiyan Blue despite his body screaming in protest, and used instant transmission to teleport himself and the exploding flagship away from the battle. He didn't have a destination, didn't have a KI signature to lock onto. Just picked a direction away from the fleet and jumped, dragging millions of tons of antimatter explosive with him through space-time. The flagship detonated. In the middle of empty space, far from any inhabited system, the explosion bloomed like a newborn star. Antimatter met matter in a cascade of annihilation that would have ended civilizations. But there was nothing there except void and distant asteroids. And Goku, at the center of the blast, taking the full force of an explosion designed to end worlds. "I am Groot." The tree child's scream cut through the comm channels as the flagship's energy signature vanished from sensors. "I am Groot!" Richard Rider felt his heart drop. 1 second, Goku's power reading had been off the charts. That silver transformation had registered at levels the world mind couldn't even quantify. The next second, nothing. Just empty space where the flagship had been, and a residual energy signature that suggested an antimatter detonation of catastrophic scale. "Goku!" Richard called into the comm. "Goku, respond! Did you—" Static. "Damn it!" Richard forced his emotions down, forced himself to think tactically. The Saiyan had eliminated Annihilus and destroyed the flagship. That was the mission. That was what mattered, even if it meant Goku had sacrificed himself to do it. "All Centurions," Richard transmitted, his voice carrying the weight of command he'd learned from Richard Rider before him. "The flagship is destroyed, Annihilus is dead or neutralized. The annihilation wave has lost its command structure. Hit them while they're disorganized. For the Nova Corps, for the Saiyan who saved us all." The Centurions rallied. Without Annihilus's coordination, the annihilation wave began to fracture. Ships broke formation, seekers scattered in confusion, and the biomechanical capital ship suddenly seemed lost. The Nova Corps pressed the advantage ruthlessly, cutting through the wave's vanguard with renewed fury. But even in disarray, the wave was still millions strong. The battle raged on. "I am Groot!" The tree child refused to give up, branches extending across space as if he could somehow pull Goku back through sheer force of will. "Kid," Richard said gently, "he's gone." The explosion. A golden light appeared in the distance. It was faint at first, barely visible against the backdrop of stellar fire and antimatter explosions. But it grew brighter, stronger, moving through the debris field of the destroyed flagship with purpose. "No way," Richard breathed. Goku emerged from the explosion's aftermath, battered and bleeding, armor torn but alive. He'd dropped all transformations, was flying on pure ki alone, his aura flickering like a candle in a storm. But he was smiling, that impossible, indomitable Saiyan smile. "I am Groot," joy and relief in equal measure. "You absolute madman," Richard said, laughing despite himself. "You tanked an antimatter explosion." "Didn't really have a choice." Goku's voice came through the comm, weak but clear. "Couldn't let it hit the fleet. Used instant transmission to get away from the worst of it, then went Super Saiyan Blue to tank what I couldn't avoid. It hurt." He paused. "A lot. But I've been through worse. The flagship. Destroyed. Annihilus was inside when it blew. I don't know if he survived, but without the cosmic control rod, he's mortal. If he lived, he'll be powerless. Across the battlefield, the annihilation wave began to retreat, without their master's will. Driving them forward, the creatures of the negative zone fled back through the breach. Not in organized withdrawal, but in panicked rout. The invasion was over. Nova Prime Rail's voice crackled over the fleet-wide channel, barely controlled emotion breaking through her professional demeanor. All ships, pursue but do not cross the barrier. Let them flee back to the negative zone. Seal the breaches, we've won. Cheers erupted across every ship, every fighter, every Centurion's comm channel. They'd faced an extinction event and survived. The annihilation wave had been turned back. "Goku," Richard said, "get back to the ship. You look like you're about to pass out." "Yeah," Goku admitted. "That's probably accurate. Used way too much energy. Haven't pushed this hard since the Tournament of Power." His flight pattern wavered, and for a moment Richard thought he might actually lose consciousness. "I am Groot!" The tree child extended branches, creating a path through the debris. Goku followed it, moving slowly but steadily back toward Richard's interceptor. As he approached, the Centurions who'd been fighting nearby formed an honor guard. 20 golden figures saluting the warrior who'd given everything to protect their universe. "We saw the flagship explode," one of the Centurions transmitted. "We thought you were dead." "Takes more than that to kill a Saiyan," Goku said, but his voice was fading. "We get stronger every time we almost die. It's kind of our thing." He reached the interceptor and collapsed into the passenger bay. Groot immediately wrapped him in gentle branches, providing support. Richard activated the medical system, scanning for damage. The readout made him wince. Broken ribs, internal bleeding, severe energy depletion, burns across 40% of his body, and something the scanner labeled as cellular destabilization from antimatter exposure. By all rights, Goku should have been dead, but Saiyans apparently didn't care about should. "Rest," Richard ordered. "We'll get you to the medical frigate. Nova Corps has healers who can handle cosmic-level injuries." "The Guardians," Goku murmured, eyes already closing. "Did they... Thanos..." "No word yet," Richard admitted. "But knowing Star-Lord, they're probably in the middle of their own impossible victory right about now." Goku smiled and passed out. Halfway across the galaxy, the kiln burned. The cosmic prison had become a war zone. Thanos' forces, led by the Black Order, had breached the facility's defenses with brutal efficiency. Ebony Maw's telekinesis tore through defensive barriers like tissue paper. Corvus Glaive's weapon cut through energy shields as if they didn't exist. Proxima Midnight's spear impaled defenders before they could raise alarms, and Cull Obsidian smashed through reinforced walls with pure brute strength. But the Guardians of the Galaxy were waiting. "Now!" Star-Lord's command cut through the chaos. Rockets' explosives detonated along the corridor Thanos was using to reach the high-security cells. The Mad Titan stumbled, barely but enough. Gamora dropped from an overhead ventilation shaft, her sword aimed at her adoptive father's throat with all the precision of a lifetime's training. Thanos caught the blade with his bare hand. "Daughter," he said almost fondly, "I wondered if you would come." "I am Groot." The tree child, who'd somehow grown to full adult size in the past hour through battle stress acceleration, swung massive fists at Thanos' head. Drax attacked from the opposite side, blades seeking vital points with berserker fury. "For my wife, for my daughter, for everyone you've murdered." Thanos defended against both simultaneously, his combat skill honed over millennia. He was powerful, stronger than any of them individually, possibly stronger than all of them combined. But the Guardians had something he didn't. They had each other. Star-Lord's element guns fired in sequence, lightning to disrupt. Thanos' concentration, ice to slow his movements, wind to throw off his balance. Rocket's heavy ordnance painted the corridor with explosive fire, forcing Thanos to divide his attention. Gamora's sword found gaps in his defense, drawing blood, actual blood, proving he could be hurt. "You are impressive," Thanos acknowledged, backhanding Drax into a wall hard enough to crack reinforced steel. "But ultimately futile. I have planned for every contingency, anticipated every move. You cannot win." "Don't have to win," Star-Lord said, grinning despite the blood running down his face. "Just have to keep you busy long enough." "Long enough for what?" The high-security cell behind Thanos exploded, not from outside, but from within. The prisoner Thanos had come to eliminate broke free and revealed herself. She was humanoid, female, wreathed in flames that burned with cosmic power. Her eyes were phoenixes made manifest, and her voice carried the weight of stars. "Hello, Thanos," she said. "Remember me?" The Mad Titan's expression shifted, the first genuine emotion the Guardians had ever seen from him. Fear. "You should be dead," Thanos said. "I killed you, personally. I made certain." "You killed a body," the woman agreed. "But I am so much more than flesh. I am the Phoenix Force's chosen avatar in this reality. And I've been waiting for you to come close enough for me to touch." She reached out. Thanos ran. The Mad Titan, conqueror of 1,000 worlds, wielder of the Infinity Gauntlet in some timelines, the being who'd made death itself love him, turned and fled from the Phoenix avatar with something approaching panic. "The Black Order," he commanded. "Retreat. Immediate extraction." His forces responded with military precision. Ebony Maw created portals, the Black Order pulled back, and Thanos' ship engaged emergency protocols. Within seconds, they were gone, leaving the Guardians standing in the wreckage of the kiln with a cosmic entity smiling at them. "Thank you," the Phoenix Avatar said. "I've been imprisoned here for cycles, my power dampened by Kree technology. You gave me the distraction I needed to break free. We just made Thanos run away," Star-Lord said, disbelieving. "We didn't even have to fight him to the death." "Sometimes," Gamora said, sheathing her sword, "the best victory is making your enemy afraid." "I am Groot." "Yeah, little man. We actually won against Thanos. Holy shit, we won." The Phoenix Avatar began to fade, her mission apparently complete. "Tell your Saiyan friend that his battle was witnessed. The cosmic entities were watching. He has earned their attention, which is both blessing and curse." Then she was gone, vanishing into flames that dispersed across dimensions. The Guardians stood in silence for a moment. Then Rocket started laughing, manic, exhausted, relieved laughter that was contagious. Soon they were all laughing, the tension of facing Thanos breaking like a fever. "Let's go find out if Goku survived," Star-Lord said finally. "Because if he managed to stop the annihilation wave while we were dealing with Thanos, I'm buying him the biggest meal in the galaxy." The Milano docked with the Nova Corps medical frigate 3 days after the battle. Goku had spent most of that time unconscious, his Saiyan biology working overtime to repair the catastrophic damage from tanking an antimatter explosion. The healers had given up trying to understand his physiology and simply kept him stable while his own body did the heavy lifting. When he finally woke, the first thing he saw was Groot's face hovering over him, branches arranged in what might have been concern. "I am Groot." "Hey, buddy," Goku said, his voice rough. "We win?" "We won," Richard Rider confirmed, appearing beside the medical bed in his Nova uniform. "The annihilation wave retreated. The negative zone barriers are being reinforced with new technology. And Annihilus, well, we found pieces of him in the debris field. Without the cosmic control rod, the explosion killed him." You actually did it, Goku. You stopped an extinction event. What about the Guardians? Thanos? See for yourself. The medical bay's door opened and the Guardians filed in. Star-Lord looked tired but triumphant. Gamora moved with the satisfaction of someone who'd faced her greatest demon and walked away. Drax bore fresh scars like medals. Rocket carried a datapad with what appeared to be battle statistics, and Groot, the small sapling version, rode on the adult Groot's shoulder, having split off from the battle-stressed growth. "You look terrible," Star-Lord said cheerfully. "You should see the other guy," Goku replied, sitting up despite the healer's protests. "You got Thanos?" "Scared him off," Gamora said with evident satisfaction. "Turns out he's terrified of the Phoenix Force. We freed an avatar, she showed up, and the Mad Titan ran like he'd seen a ghost." "Which technically he had," Rocket added. "Phoenix Force is death and rebirth incarnate. Thanos might worship death, but he doesn't want to meet her permanently yet." "So both threats neutralized," Richard summarized. "The Annihilation wave is scattered without leadership. Thanos is in retreat. The galaxy is safe. For now." "For now," Goku agreed. "Guys like that always come back. Trust me, I've fought enough universe-ending threats to know they're persistent." Nova Prime Rail entered the medical bay, her expression carrying something Goku had rarely seen from military commanders. Genuine gratitude. "Goku of Universe, whichever one you're from," she said. "On behalf of the Nova Corps, the Xandarian government, and the billions of lives you saved, thank you. We've never seen anything like what you did. Taking on Annihilus alone, destroying the flagship, tanking an antimatter explosion. You fought with the courage of 1,000 centurions." "I just did what anyone would do," Goku said, embarrassed by the praise. "No," Gamora corrected. "You did what heroes do. What the best of us aspire to. You could have stayed back, helped with evacuations, kept yourself safe. Instead, you charged into the worst of it because someone had to." "That's what you guys did too," Goku pointed out. "Facing Thanos, freeing the Phoenix Avatar, we all took risks. I am Groot." "Groot says we're a team now," Rocket translated. "Unofficial Guardian. Honorary member of the galaxy's best and most reckless hero group." "I'd be honored," Goku said sincerely. Star-Lord pulled out a small device, a communicator with the Guardian's insignia. "This is linked to the Milano. Wherever you end up in this universe, you can reach us. We help each other out. That's what Guardians do." Goku accepted the communicator, feeling the weight of what it represented. Family. In a universe far from home, he'd found people who fought like he fought, believed what he believed, and stood against darkness with nothing but courage and each other. "I've been thinking," Goku said, "about how I got here. My instant transmission broke dimensional barriers, something it's never done before. What if that means I can do it again, find my way home?" "The Nova Corps Science Division analyzed your energy signature," Rail said. "They believe that with proper calibration and perhaps some technological assistance, you could potentially recreate the dimensional breach. Return to your universe. But," Richard added, "it's not guaranteed. You might end up in another universe entirely, or scattered across dimensions. It's risky." Goku considered this. His friends were back home. Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Chi-Chi, everyone. His world, his universe, the people who counted on him. He missed them, but this universe needed heroes too. The Guardians had shown him that. The Nova Corps, fighting against impossible odds. The refugees he'd helped evacuate. All the lives that hung in the balance when cosmic threats emerged. "I should try to get home," he said finally. "My family's there, my friends. They're probably worried, but before I go..." He looked at each of the Guardians in turn. Thank you for making me feel like I belonged here, for fighting beside me, for showing me that heroism looks the same no matter what universe you're in. I am Groot, sad but understanding. We'll miss you, Goku, Star-Lord said. But we get it. Home is important. Just remember, you've always got friends in this universe. And if you ever figure out that dimensional teleport thing deliberately, come visit. We'll show you the really dangerous parts of the galaxy. Deal, Goku promised. The Nova Corps spent 2 weeks preparing the dimensional breach attempt. They built a stabilization field that would, in theory, allow Goku to open a controlled portal home. Scientists from a dozen worlds contributed theories. Rocket built half the equipment personally, muttering about Saiyan-specific quantum signatures and dimensional coordinate systems. On the day of the attempt, the Guardians gathered on Xandar's orbital platform to see him off. Ready? Richard asked, the stabilization field humming around them. As I'll ever be, Goku said. He'd recovered fully. Saiyan healing factor plus cosmic medical technology had left him stronger than before, as always happened when he survived near-death experiences. You guys take care of each other, and if Thanos comes back or Annihilus somehow survived or any new cosmic threat shows up, we'll handle it, Gamora assured him. That's what we do. I am Groot, enthusiastic agreement from both Groots. Goku powered up to Super Saiyan Blue, his aura blazing cyan. He focused his ki, felt for the dimensional barriers the way he had that day leaving Beerus's planet. The stabilization field resonated with his energy, creating a framework he could work with. Here goes, he said. Instant transmission on plus everything I've got. He placed 2 fingers to his forehead and pushed. Reality tore. Not violently this time, but precisely, controlled. A portal opened, swirling energy that showed glimpses of another universe beyond. Goku could feel it. Home, Universe 7, his Earth. It worked, Rocket shouted. The crazy monkey actually... Thank you, Goku interrupted, smiling at them all one last time. For everything. Maybe I'll see you again someday. Count on it, Star-Lord said. Guardians of the Galaxy don't forget family. Goku stepped through the portal. The universe shifted around him, dimensional barriers parting like curtains. For a moment he existed in the space between realities, infinite universes spreading out in every direction, each one containing its own heroes, its own threats, its own stories of courage against darkness. Then he was through. Emerging in a familiar sky above a familiar planet. Earth, his Earth, home. The portal closed behind him, dimensional barriers sealing. Goku floated there for a moment, feeling the sun's warmth, sensing key signatures he recognized. Vegeta training somewhere, Gohan teaching, Piccolo meditating. He powered down and smiled. I'm home. Back on Xandar, the Guardians watched the portal close. Think we'll see him again? Star-Lord asked. I am Groot, the small tree said confidently. Yeah, Gamora agreed. Heroes like that, they always find their way back to where they're needed. And something tells me the multiverse isn't done with Goku yet. Richard Rider looked up at the stars. Infinite points of light, each one representing countless worlds. The cosmic entities were watching his fight with Annihilus, the Watcher observed. The living tribunal took notice that Saiyan has made an impression on forces that transcend normal reality. Is that good or bad? Rocket asked. Both, Richard said, always both. But if another cosmic threat emerges, if the multiverse itself is threatened, well, at least we know there's a warrior out there who fights with a smile and never gives up. To Goku, Star-Lord said, raising an imaginary glass. The Saiyan Guardian. May he find peace in his universe, and may we survive long enough to fight beside him again. I am Groot, cheerful agreement. The Guardians departed Xandar, the Milano streaking into the cosmic dark toward their next adventure. Behind them, the Nova Corps began rebuilding. The negative zone barriers held, and the galaxy breathed easier knowing extinction had been averted. And across dimensions in multiple universes, the story spread. Cosmic beings spoke of the Saiyan warrior who'd challenged Annihilus and won. The Watcher added Goku's battle to his endless observations. The Living Tribunal noted that the dimensional barriers had been crossed, which had implications for the multiverse's stability. In some universe, at some point in the vast expanse of time and space, those implications would matter. Threats would emerge that required heroes from multiple realities to stand together. But that was a story for another day. For now, Goku was home. The Guardians continued their cosmic protection, and the Marvel Universe had learned what the Dragon Ball universe had known for years. Never underestimate a Saiyan who fights for others. The legend of the Saiyan Guardian spread through the cosmos like wildfire. In bars on Nowhere, mercenaries traded stories about the warrior who'd turned an annihilation wave warzone into his personal training ground. On Xandar, the Nova Corps established a commendation in Goku's name for extraordinary courage in the face of extinction-level threats. The Kree Empire's intelligence division opened a file on dimensional warrior Saiyan classification that would never be closed. Cosmo the Space Dog added Goku to Nowhere's Hall of Heroes, a telepathic memorial that preserved the memories of those who'd stood against cosmic darkness. Visitors could experience Goku's battle with Annihilus through Cosmo's psychic recordings, feeling the determination, the courage, and the sheer joy of combat that had defined the Saiyans' approach to an impossible fight. The Guardians of the Galaxy found their reputation elevated. They'd faced Thanos and made the Mad Titan retreat. They'd worked alongside a dimensional warrior who defeated Annihilus. Star-Lord received offers from a dozen planetary governments for protection contracts. He turned them all down because Guardians protected people, not profits. Richard Rider kept the training session recordings. When new Centurions joined the Nova Corps, he showed them footage of Goku's transformations, his techniques, his absolute refusal to accept defeat. That, Richard would tell them, is what heroism looks like. Not power, not invincibility. The choice to stand and fight when every instinct screams to run. And somewhere in the quantum foam between universes, the Watcher observed. He'd witnessed Goku's arrival, his battle, his return home. In the Watcher's infinite knowledge of cosmic events, he understood something the others didn't yet. The dimensional breach that had brought Goku to the Marvel Universe wasn't an accident. It was a test. The multiverse was preparing for something, a crisis that would require heroes from across all realities to unite. Goku's accidental journey had proven that such crossings were possible, that warriors from different universes could fight together against cosmic threats. When the time came, and it would come, the Watcher knew that the Saiyan Guardian would return. Not by accident this time, but by necessity. But that crisis lay in the future. For now, both universes had been saved. The annihilation wave was scattered, Thanos was in retreat, and heroes on both sides had proven that courage transcended dimensional boundaries. In the Marvel Universe, the Guardians continued their mission, carrying a communicator that might never receive a call but represented something important. The knowledge that they had family across the multiverse. In Universe 7, Goku returned to his training, his family, his endless quest to get stronger. But sometimes, late at night, he'd look up at the stars and remember a different sky, different friends, a universe where Being a guardian meant standing against impossible odds with nothing but determination and a smile. He'd learned something important in the Marvel Universe. Heroism wasn't about power levels or transformations or defeating gods. It was about the choice. The simple, difficult, beautiful choice to fight for others even when victory seemed impossible. The Saiyan who'd turned cosmic Warzones into training grounds. The warrior who'd faced Annihilus and won. The dimensional anomaly who'd become a guardian. His legend would echo through both universes, a reminder that sometimes the strongest power wasn't strength at all. It was the refusal to give up, the determination to protect innocent lives, the courage to smile in the face of extinction and say, "Let's see what I'm really capable of." Goku's journey had ended. His legend was just beginning, and when the multiverse called again, and it would, he'd be ready.